Welcome back to the Bourbon and BS podcast, everyone. This is episode 348. We've got Shawn Wilkinson joining us tonight, Nate Hale in the garage. It is a little chilly. It is December in Columbus, Ohio. We do have our heater going, but we do have to ventilate the garage, so we look a little bundled up.
I forgot the light.
No, I plugged it in, didn't I? And there you go. Much better. Thank you, Nate. That is for one of our sponsors here. Might as well start with that. I want to thank you guys for tuning in. We are doing something a little different tonight. We have just on stream on YouTube. So we're going to be sharing that stream onto Facebook, but unless something changes, I think we're going to push everything over to YouTube for the live streams and for the videos. So hopefully you guys can watch them live or at your leisure. And we're doing a special episode tonight. We had some technical difficulties last night streaming. So here we are on a Thursday instead of a Whiskey Wednesday. So I want to thank you guys. First
Thirsty Thursday?
Thirsty Thursday. Patreon.com/Bourbon and BS podcast for all you guys that have helped us out continuously over the years. We appreciate your continued support. Definitely helps us continue doing this, streaming it live with all of these nice features with StreamYard and also on YouTube and everything else. So thank you guys. Venmo at Bourbon and BS. We appreciate those one-time contributions as well. We also want to thank, obviously, our sponsors, Tinder Box at Easton in Columbus, Ohio. We've got the Cohiba Rubicon, which is going to be available at Tinder Box at Easton and hopefully brick and mortars near you. Carfagnas as well in the northern part of the Columbus area. So you got at least two places you can find that Cohiba Rubicon. But thank you, Tinder Box at Easton, for the continued support. Definitely check them out. If you don't have a local brick and mortar, they can ship to you as well. And also Altadis USA. The second cigar is the H. Upman Heritage by AJ Fernandez. So that's going to be one we've smoked on the show before, and we do enjoy that. Altadis has continued to sponsor us with the featured cigar along with, the second featured cigar along with continued support. So thank you very much. And also BS Cigar Company, the gold and silver are available. The gold is made by Plasencia and the silver is made by Espinosa Cigars. So check those out as well. BS Cigar Company, thank you very much. And I don't have any on, and I'm not representing. I'm bundled up. I actually have a custom Silent 13 sweatshirt on under. Hey, man, we like those guys.
Thinner.
No. Buyjack.com/BourbonBS for you got the Nicaraguan colors, BS Cigar Company zip up that Shawn's got on. You have the barrelhead logo, black camo Bourbon BS that Nate's got on. So you guys look very handsome. So we appreciate the support there.
Try to do my peck pops underneath.
Yeah, I can see it. Maybe it's the lighting.
Yeah.
It's kind of the lighting. But yeah, thank you very much. I see Ray Cheshire on there. Let's see what all this is here.
I was about to say, I don't know if I can see.
Share
Yeah.
on Facebook.
I'm going to share. We got 4 people watching right now, so that's a good start. I don't want to open this. I just want to
Share it.
Do you want me to stay on like the
Yeah,
Facebook
we're
page?
doing it on Facebook tonight, or I'm sorry, on YouTube, because Facebook's been having that thing where after 2 weeks, video's gone.
yeah.
So we're trying to do this on YouTube tonight. So that way the videos stay up there longer and more people can be able to see it after the fact. So hopefully we still get some interaction from our loyal listeners.
Sure.
It's on there.
Ray's on there. Cool. All right. So let's get started, and then we can kind of talk more about what we're doing here. Yeah, I see Ray's comment on there. Got you. Welcome, Ray.
Awesome.
Fantastic.
All right, cool.
Let's start with what we are drinking here, if you guys don't mind. This is something, Shawn, you brought for us.
Yes, sir.
We'll go ahead and put that up there. WhistlePig Snout and Tail. Go ahead. What we got going on here?
Yeah, it was a gift to me by a friend. It's 10 years. It's, what did you say it was?
88 proof.
88 proof. It's 10 year and it's just straight bourbon whiskey.
That's the key.
Yes.
It's a 10-year bourbon.
Yes.
Most everything that WhistlePig does is a rye. They have their 6-year piggyback bourbon.
Right.
This is the first time they've done a 10-year bourbon. It just came into Ohio this year.
Okay. That's for, okay. And I had the, I do have the rye as well. So I thought this if you want to try this. Thanks to you that already tried the rye. So it's,
We've had that on the show before.
what's that? The rye?
Yeah, the 10-year. Yeah.
Okay. Forget what I said.
We haven't had this.
We haven't had this.
it. Yes. Correct.
This is newer, yes.
Yep.
Yes.
I think it's 80 retail.
Yes, currently in Ohio, it is 80. When it first dropped, I think they were asking 90 for it.
Yeah.
Based on OHLQ, I hope this isn't already on last call. That would be bad.
Yeah.
Not good, yeah.
But it is currently $79.99 in Ohio.
Cool. So I'll give you a quick Snout to tail, whatever the thing they call it. To tail bourbon is a one of a kind expression of our whole hog commitment to crafted whiskeys. Bolder, bigger, bolder, and better than generations past. 10 years worth of complex flavors are doubled down and turned up during secondary barrel aging. With our experimental two-headed toast, each barrel head brings distinct toasted notes to round out the character of this palate-pleasing straight bourbon whiskey from snout to tail. So,
Do you have any idea what that means?
Yep. I think so.
What? Go.
I got to read my notes real quick.
Go ahead. I'm sharing this.
If you don't, that's fine.
Okay. Complex flavors. Okay. They doubled down and turned up during secondary barrel aging. So what's secondary barrel aging? Maybe.
Finishing.
Okay. And then it says our experimental toasted notes to round out the character of this. So basically the secondary barrel aging was what threw me off.
So this actually starts out as a Kentucky bourbon. So WhistlePig's in Vermont. They do all their rye and distilling and aging in Vermont. This product, they are sourcing a 10-year Kentucky bourbon. So something that is aged in Kentucky for 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
And then they finish it in another barrel where the head or the two ends of the barrel. So not the staves, but the barrel heads themselves. Okay. Those are Vermont oak that has been toasted.
Okay.
So that's why they call it snout and tail. So you have a toasted head, you have a toasted tail of the barrel. So if you lay a barrel down inside, head, tail, those are toasted. The rest of the barrel has not been toasted. It's just the two caps of the barrel.
Okay. Well, that's good to know.
So that's why they call it snout and tail.
So
it's a 10-year Kentucky bourbon that it's finished in a second barrel where the heads of the barrel have been toasted.
Now, when they store them in Vermont, I mean, obviously it gets cold in winter, way colder up there. Are they in like climate control barns they put them in? Or
so I've not been to WhistlePig's facilities, so I don't know if it's a climate control. But if they're doing that process during the summertime, they'll get that expansion of the wood, and then when the winter comes, that will contract and squeeze all the distillate out of the wood, which would be a great time to dump the barrel. Is during the wintertime when it's really freaking cold and
hopefully
squeezes
they
all
did that.
Especially that.
Yeah. So this came out earlier this year. So it sounds like one of those where, they probably got the barrel late last year or mid last year, put it in the new barrel or the secondary barrel, the finishing barrel, let it go through the summer of expanding and getting that distillate into the staves, into the heads of the barrel. And then during the wintertime in Vermont, which is really freaking cold, that cold temperature squeezes all that distillate out of the staves. And then late winter, that'd be a great time to dump that barrel. So that way you're getting as much of that expression out of that finishing barrel as you can.
Nice. Learned something new today.
Yeah, it's super interesting because it says it's distilled in Kentucky, right?
Yes.
So, and then it says it's bottled in Mineville, New York. But then WhistlePig
is in Vermont.
Is Vermont oak number 1, Vermont oak number 2. If you saw that up front.
So that's the caps of the barrel.
Yeah. Snout and tail is the number 2.
Yep.
A lot of information on this thing.
So that is one of the things about WhistlePig is, for the most part, they're pretty open and transparent. They're not necessarily saying who they're getting the original bourbon from,
right?
But they're letting you know, like, hey, this is from Kentucky. We're toasting the cap of the barrel. Here's what it is. But still, it's a 10-year bourbon for $80.
Which used to be on the higher side, in my opinion, for something, but it is on the lower end for WhistlePig, first of all.
Yeah, so
Besides the Piggyback 6.
the piggyback 6-year rye and 6-year bourbon are both, I think, in that $45 to $50 range,
And then
depending on
from
where
there,
you're
it's
at.
up.
The 10-year, I think, right now, the 10-year rye, I think, is coming in around 80, maybe 90.
Yeah.
But then the 12-year, I think, right now is 135.
Yeah, it goes up fast.
Yes,
Right.
the 15-year, I mean, you're over
60,
the 15-year, you're over $200, and then the 18-year is $300.
and then you go up to like the Boss Hog. And
Boss Hog is $600.
that's it.
Those go secondary now.
The Boss Hog sometimes will go on secondary because it comes out once a year, and it's usually around late November, early December. And it's it's a different finish every year. Some people go for just that special topper head. This year it's a Samurai, and this is batch 12
Oh, wow.
of the Boss Hog.
Okay.
They've got some other specialty releases.
So they do a 10-year that's in what they call the piggy bank.
Yeah.
Where it looks like a pig.
Yeah.
Standing up, and so it's just the 10-year WhistlePig, but in that piggy bank decanter. So your regular WhistlePig 10, you're looking about $80, $90.
Mhm.
The piggy bank, $250.
Yeah.
Tastes better.
Yeah.
What do you guys think of this? I like the WhistlePig packaging. I mean, almost every time. First of all,
Yeah, they don't skimp on it.
no, definitely a higher end look. Bottle shape, okay. You got
The
the.
bottle shape looks like all their 10, 12,
Yeah.
15, 18-year products.
Yeah. Here, I'm going to remove the banner here so you can kind of see it right there in front of Shawn there. But it's a classy looking bottle, even with the snout and tail stickers that kind of go to the sides of it.
You got that blue and white label, just it's really clean looking. It's not overdone. It says right on the label, toasted. I mean, so if you're someone that likes a toasted finish,
Mhm.
like we get people that come in, they're looking for double oaks and looking for toasted because toasted finishes usually have a little bit more of that vanilla, that butterscotch note to it.
Absolutely.
So some people look for that. So by putting it straight on the label, hey, this is toasted, it draws people in.
Mhm.
There are some people that come in, they're like, yeah, I'm looking for something double oak. I normally drink Woodford double oak. Like, well, have you ever had Old Forester 1910?
Mhm.
Oh, is that double oak? It is. But a lot of people don't realize it because it doesn't say it.
It's not advertised.
You have to know the story about the 1910 in order. So this one, they're coming right out and saying, toasted finish.
What do we think of it?
I think it's really smooth.
Mhm.
88 proof. Obviously, you're not expecting something that's going to punch you in the face. Really smooth. It's got a lot of caramel to it, a lot of vanilla, no spice at all that I get out of this. Doesn't have any like barrel char or anything like that. Just caramel, butterscotch,
Yep.
vanilla, that sweeter side. And I think part of that's because it's 88 proof. A little bit of that
Could be.
comes out. It'd be interesting, like what this tastes like right out of the barrel to see whether or not that
Sure.
sweetness is more.
It's definitely pronounced at this point. The sweetness is.
Oh yeah,
I've got a little bite. I don't know, but like right here for me. That might just be
If there is, it's very subtle.
okay.
Yeah, it's not like.
there's a little bit of
Soft like
heat.
it's
There's a
bourbon.
little bit of heat
Yeah,
right there, which is
that's
kind of odd for an 88. You
yeah.
don't get in the chest.
No,
You get it
Okay.
a little bit in the throat, but there's just a lot of sweetness that comes through on the palate. And this is actually the first time I've had it.
Yeah.
And honestly, when I took the first sip, I was like, oh, this is like a more aged and complex Old Forester 86.
Hmm.
Just that sweetness and butterscotch reminds me of Old Forester 86.
not quite as light.
No, it's not as light as that.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, but that
I got
flavor
you,
that
yeah.
you're getting,
Yeah,
that was the first thing that popped in my head. Because it's not there's not a lot of spice to it, like you would expect from, say, a wild turkey product.
No.
There's not this dark cherry note that you might get from some. There's more those brighter, sweet notes, that caramel butterscotch.
Yeah, I totally agree with the butterscotch and the caramel, especially on the front end. And it kind of, for me, it's lingering a little bit too. So maybe that's because of the age. I don't know. Now, when you say, double toasted, does that bring out that kind of sweetness? Is that where you're getting that from?
Yeah. So,
Okay.
so when you do it, so you have char and you have toast.
Right.
I think we've talked about this before on the show, but let's reiterate in case people haven't heard it. So when you're charring a barrel, which is what most bourbons go into brand new as a charred barrel, you're doing high heat for a short period of time.
Okay.
So when Steve and I went to the Old Forester distillery, the char level that they're using, they do a very high open flame heat for about 20 seconds. And that chars that barrel. I think that was a level 4 char.
Which one? I'm sorry.
Old Forester, when you and I were there.
Yeah.
All right.
Sounds right.
So when they do a toasted, they do a lower heat, but for a longer period of time.
Okay.
And we're talking 30 to 60 minutes.
Of just a straight flame.
But a lower heat.
Okay.
So what that does is it caramelizes the wood sugars and vanillin that are in the oak.
Oh, wow.
So you get more sweetness out of that wood versus doing a char where you get a little bit those deeper char, oak, and caramel flavors.
Sure.
So what they are doing for this is all they're toasting is the heads of the barrel.
The top.
So if you were standing the barrel up, the top and the bottom, if it was laying down, what they're saying, the head, the snout, and the tail.
That's smart. I never thought of that.
That's why they call it snout and tail.
Not just a clever name. It is a clever name, though.
So recently we had the Watershed toasted. So we recently had the Watershed toasted. First time Watershed's ever done a toasted. We had Ryan Venrick on the show, and he talked about how their product only spent 18 days in that toasted barrel,
right?
Because he just wanted those toasted flavors to come out just enough. He didn't want to dominate the profile. Well, this is a different way to get that same thing.
How long do you think?
Instead of toasting the entire barrel, they're just doing the end caps of the barrel. So the staves are still brand new.
Okay.
They're just toasting the end. So there's not that pronounced vanilla and butterscotch note. It's more just an additional layer of flavor. It's not trying to be the highlight of the show.
So when they say double, well, I mean, when they just toast the top and the end of it, is that a common thing to do, or is that just something unique that they did, or is there other?
There are other distilleries that'll do that. They'll either do just the caps. You have ones that'll add toasted staves in through the bung hole into the barrel. Or there's one company that literally takes toasted staves, cuts them up into about the size of a domino, and puts those into the barrel.
Oh.
Or you'll have like a string of them, like a stringer,
alternate them,
go through, and they'll just put that stringer into the barrel and pull that out when they're done.
Wow.
So there's different ways to, so you can put it into a completely new toasted barrel. You can add staves, you can add toasted chips, you can do toasted heads. There's different ways to do it depending on how much of that toasted profile you want to have on the product. The less toasted surface area you have, the less flavor you're going to get, unless you want to age it in that barrel for longer.
Okay.
So if they wanted to be really quick about it, they would just put this into a brand new barrel where everything was toasted. If they wanted the toasted profile to be the dominant flavor.
Sure.
If they want the whiskey to be the predominant flavor, but then the toast characteristics be just another layer, that's where they do just the caps, or other distilleries do the dominoes or the staves.
That's crazy.
Into the barrel.
Somebody to think of that shit. Just blows my mind.
This, I mean, besides the finishing, this is like more or less like one of the more complicated processes that we've heard about.
It is. I mean, yeah.
All these years, it's like this is definitely different.
I mean, so literally what they're doing is they're constructing a barrel, putting so they're putting the staves in the mold, and then putting a toasted barrel cap on the top, a toasted one on the bottom, and then transferring the distillate from Kentucky into that barrel. I mean,
but
they literally have to make
they're not charring the staves.
They're not charring the staves. They're basically making a brand new barrel.
Yeah.
And just toasting the heads of the barrel. and putting that distillate into that
That's
barrel.
crazy. It's good though.
It is good.
It's dangerously good too.
No, I'm enjoying it.
No, it is good. Yeah, for sure.
Appreciate
Yeah,
you bringing this.
Mhm.
You want to know how to quickly kill an $80 bottle?
Nice legs.
Here you go.
That is one way
Yeah.
you can do it.
I mean,
That is
because
one way.
yeah, I mean, it's 88 proof. It goes down super smooth. You have a lot of sweetness, not a lot of spice at all. There's none of that burn, no Kentucky hug. This just really goes down easy. So easy, I would not want to use this in a cocktail. I think if you did this in an old fashioned, it would get lost.
It's too sweet.
It is.
It'd be too sweet, I
It would,
think.
yeah. It would get lost with the bitters, the cherries, the simple syrup.
Leave the cherries out.
It would
The
Yeah.
syrup. Leave the syrup.
it would
out.
get lost.
Yeah. Just do a syrup.
Pretty refreshing, like on like a summer day, though.
Yeah, you could easily drink this neat on a summer day.
I couldn't imagine having this on the rocks. It'd dilute the shit out of it. Unless you drink it quick.
Let's
I
do
don't
it.
think add anything. I think it would kill all that.
No, this is one of those bourbons that I think this is meant to be sip neat.
Yeah. Even
That's
for,
the purpose.
I would say even for people that are new to the bourbon and whiskey, that this would be a good one to get them to try,
Mhm.
because most of them are like, oh my god, it burned my nose.
You still got a little bit of heat, though. That's what I'm saying. You got just a little bit of the like a bourbon burn. I think a little bit, just a little.
Just
you know?
enough to know it's there.
Yeah. I
And maybe we're used
it's
to
not
like,
watered down. That's for sure.
It could be the fact too that we're used to that, and then to have something a little bit lighter,
Oh yeah.
but for the beginner would still be like, oh my god, that.
Very,
Well,
very
I
much.
mean-
yeah, I think Kristen would probably think this tastes like lighter fluid. I think that's apparent.
For sure.
Well, and before I came here, we had a whiskey rep at our store that was doing a tasting,
Yeah.
and so I was having a 90 proof bourbon. I had the bottled and bond bourbon, and then I had their uncut, unfiltered, which was tipping the scales at 129.
Yeah, drink some whatever Nate gives you, and then do this. You're like, oh my god. It's just,
Well, and then even before, like you let me try this. This is
Mhm.
coming in at 100 proof,
Mhm.
but
That's
like
good. Tell them what that is.
so, Shawn was kind enough to bring the Jack Daniel's Heritage Toasted Barrel. So again, something that's finished in a toasted barrel.
Yeah.
This is coming in at 180 proof. It's Jack Daniel's that
Not
doesn't
180,
taste like Jack
100
Daniel's. It's 100 proof.
you said 180,
180 proof.
but I can.
100 proof.
It's 100. They know.
100 proof.
180 proof. We are dying.
But it's Jack. I said to Shawn, it's Jack Daniel's that doesn't taste like Jack Daniel's.
No shit.
It
Yeah.
doesn't have that maple finish, that charcoal finish on it.
Yep.
It's that
Not
toasted
as sweet
barrel,
either.
100 proof.
It's not as sweet either.
No. Now it's not as sweet as what I think the WhistlePig is. But again, two different products that are going into that barrel. But no, it's one of those, like, you could drink this, you could drink the Jack Daniels, you could drink Penelope toasted. You could drink Elijah Craig toasted, and they're all going to taste different.
Yep.
Because of how you could drink the Watershed toasted fall finishing series.
Yep.
All those products taste different, even though they're all finished in toasted barrels or
Yep.
toasted cabs.
Again, I think toasted is one of those terms that's being used as marketing in a lot of ways as
Yeah.
well, like we've talked about. So, that's where this is. I can appreciate what WhistlePig's doing on this is that they've done it their own way. Like they've got a clever naming, marketing, as you said, Shawn, earlier. This is, yes, bigger on there is a, age 10-year bourbon WhistlePig.
I think that's what sells this.
What's that?
I think this being marketed as a 10-year bourbon
Sure.
sells it more than it being a toasted finished bourbon.
But even like the snout and tail thing it's on there.
Yep.
But it's not the predominant like marketing. It's like the big bold letters is snout and tail. Now they throw it in there so that it's got the cleverness of like the piggyback and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
But it's more focused on what we're doing here with the product, because WhistlePig, known for being rye whiskeys, they've dipped their toe in. Now it looks like they are jumping into the bourbon side of things.
Yeah.
Which is nice to see, because again, WhistlePig, there are a lot of people, I think, not that we're experts, but like more novice, that they don't know WhistlePig is known for ryes and where they're located and where they're getting the ryes and all this stuff that we've talked about on the show before. We've had them on here. totally different conversation.
Mm.
You know, I think we'll find out more about it with WhistlePig, with where they're getting it distilled exactly in Kentucky. I don't know if that information's out there, but I mean, this is something that it's neat to see the progression there. And they're not coming out. They say 10-year. They're not trying to match up with some of the 10, the 12, the 15 French oak, right? For the 15.
Yeah.
And 18. So I mean, they're not like just being, hey, everything we put out is going to be either the 6-year for the low end, or it's going to be super high end.
Well, and then even
you're kind of coming out in the middle, which is nice.
Yeah, the 12-year ryes, those are finished in multiple different barrels that are then blended together. That's why that product, typically fluctuates between $120, $135 a bottle. The 10-year rye is coming in about the same price point as what this is. It never sees an additional finishing. So, I think it was a good thing for them to keep this in line with that price. The 6-year piggyback bourbon comes at, again, that one can fluctuate $45, $50. I think when they came out with the piggyback rye and bourbon, I think that was one of the best additions to their portfolio that they ever came out with, because it was a way to expose people to their products at half the cost.
Right.
So there's a lot of people, even us, that hesitate on dropping $80 to $100 on a bottle if we haven't had anything from that portfolio.
Right.
So when they come out with a 6-year rye or 6-year bourbon that's at $45, $50, that's a lot easier to pull the trigger on. And so it's one of those where you try that and you're like, oh, this is actually really good. If the 6-year is good at $50, like, okay, I want to try the 10-year at $80. And if I like that, okay, maybe then a special occasion, I buy the 12 or, the 15 and the 18. I still have about that much left of my 15-year. That was a Christmas gift birthday present 4 years ago. I got about that much left of that bottle.
Kill it.
I think the only thing that hurts them with the 15 and 18-year is those are still coming around that 92 proof.
15 I love.
I think the 15, it's $250, and that's a lot. Thankfully, I got that as a birthday present. That is a lot of money to spend on a bottle of anything.
It is.
And especially when it's 92 proof.
But
that bottle is so freaking good.
I feel like you have to get out of the mindset, though, and I'll move on to the cigar here, but you have to get out of the mindset of proof equals price.
Yes, I agree.
I mean,
that's hard to do, but I agree with you.
You say it's hard to do, but I mean, again, anytime you're buying something that is a consumable product, is it about, like, are you trying to, there's a lot of high proof stuff that's cheap that'll get you drunk. Okay. So if you're paying, whether it's a lower price or a higher price, I feel like you have a lot of forgiveness on the flavor and the experience. The higher price, you have a lot less forgiveness. If you're spending $250 on a whiskey, you want to enjoy it.
Oh, absolutely.
Who gives a shit what proof it is when it comes down to, because again, you especially, Nate, have brought in some like high proof shit that is not the most expensive, and some of it's very good, and other stuff you're like, I need to add a couple drops. So like, I'm not, because we're focusing on this one, but I do think it's a valid point that when you get something that, say it is $250, great, it's 120 something proof, still tastes like shit. So like, what would you rather have? Would you rather have a 80, 90 in that, sub 100 proof, and it tastes amazing? You know what I mean? For that price. I just want to, I'm trying to get away from the proof stuff, because yes, a lot of times it doesn't always taste the proof, first of all. And on the other side of that, it's like, yeah, again, I can get a barrel proof or 120 something that's $50, $60, you know what I mean? And it might be good. That's your bonus, right?
Yeah.
But I think once you get in the higher price points, it's like, you should enjoy it.
So
same thing when people ask about price points. We'll get into that on the cigar here momentarily, but same thing there. It's like, hey, we just got in a cigar today and it's $30, and Brian, the owner of the shop's like, because I smoked one before, and he's like, is it worth $30? And it's like, again, that's really tough. I really enjoyed it.
So I talk about bourbon, some of the higher priced bourbons, the same way I do some of the higher priced wines because I get asked about it at work.
Mm-hmm.
Like we get asked about it in the cigar industry as well. Like someone buys a $12 cigar versus a $40 cigar. Like is that cigar three times better? It's like that's not the right way to
exactly
to think about
That's the same
Like,
way with bourbons.
I look at it as I go, okay, a $250 bottle of bourbon versus an $80 bottle of bourbon. You're not expecting it to taste 4 times better. What you should hopefully get is more character, some more finesse. I describe wine that way to customers. You have a $20 bottle and a $200 bottle. Is it 10 times better? Not necessarily, but there's complexity, finesse, and ageability of that $200 bottle that you are not going to get out of that $20 bottle.
No.
So you can't sit there and look at it as an apples to apples comparison.
Yeah.
There are things about that bottle that make it that price point, whether with the fruit or where it's coming from, how it's made,
Right.
how
Doesn't
rare
mean
it
you're
is.
gonna like it though.
No,
Yeah,
it doesn't.
True.
That's a big
It's to each
that's
their
the
own.
key I'm trying to get.
Yeah,
in
I
on
mean,
that.
you can sit there, someone who likes a $20 red blend, you sit there and go, this $100 red blend's way better, and that person can drink it and go, yeah, I don't like that.
I like the other one better. Yeah.
All right, cool. Then stick with your $20 conundrum, whatever. Like go for it. Like
Yeah, I mean, the biggest ones like for Kristen and I with wines, not to get down that rabbit hole, but I mean, if we can find a daily, if we're going to have a bottle or two with like a steak night, we're not going to drop a bunch of money on it. It's more like, all right, these are our favorites under $20. These are our favorites, 15. I mean, there's even some that Nate, you might look at and you're like, yeah, but they're like $10, $12 bottles. And it's like, we enjoy it and we don't feel like guilty, having a bottle or two over a period of an evening and night,
Sure.
with dinner and after or whatever it might be. It's like, cause we're just not, I mean, it's not financially sound to, splurge every time,
Yeah.
Same thing with the
Special
cigars.
occasions.
Like when people, like someone comes in and like, yeah, that person only smokes Davidoffs, but it's like, they only smoke like 1 or 2 a month. You're like, oh, well, that's kind of in line with what I spend on cigars.
yeah.
It's like
you're
I
spending
smoke
$30 to
daily or
$80
whatever,
a month. I'm doing that in a week.
I think it's to each their own. I think it's a good segue to what we're smoking tonight. We can kind of go back and forth a little bit. So this is the Cohiba Rubicon. This is a very interesting project from STG General Cigars and Cohiba. This cigar they had a lot of success with the Cohiba Blue a few years back, where it came in not quite half the price of a lot of theirs.
I think originally the Cohiba Blue was coming in around that $12 to $14 price point.
Yeah, I want to say pushing 15 on some of the sizes, but yes, it absolutely was. So now it's about 15, 16, somewhere around there. They had a lot of success with it, where all the other Cohibas, the Red Dot, which was their probably at one time their best selling one, and that now has creeped up into the mid to high 20s. You've got the
black is in
right
the 30s.
there with it. The Royale, you've got the Macassar, or you got the Nicaragua. You've got all these other ones that are in the 20 to 30. Riviera,
30.
all great blends. And Shawn Williams, who's been with them now and had his hands in some of those, he's been doing some great work. But again, like my comment on the Davidoffs, this is a great thing. The Cohiba is like, people enjoy it, and they're fantastic cigars. But then all of a sudden, it's like they don't sell as often as your average price now, $12 to $15 cigars. Cohiba, general cigars overall, let's rephrase that. They've been coming out with some blends, and we've had them on here, like the CAO Fossil line, where they were sub $10, and they started really doing well. And we talked about on the show before where how great they were smoking for the price point. And so this is where I think Cohiba, when I first found out about this, and I never talked to Shawn about it, but it was our rep, Mike Sauerball, and we were talking about it. And I'm like, I don't know if that's a smart move. They basically priced this, in my opinion, almost as in comparison to the regular line, almost at like a Cohiba bundle. This is coming in at give or take $10. for a Cohiba,
Wait, this?
the Rubicon.
Jesus.
So the Rubicon comes in 3 sizes. We are smoking the box press Robusto.
Okay.
Comes in a Toro and a Gigante, both round. But this is something that, and I'll get your guys' opinion. I know, Nate, you like this cigar. Sean, I think you've smoked at least one of these before. They're not really pulling any punches with the price point. You've got an Ecuadorian Habano wrapper, a U.S. broadleaf binder, and then you have Dominican, Honduran, and Nicaraguan filler. So it's a 5-country blend.
As a dark Honduran wrapper.
It's a dark Ecuadorian Habano.
Habano. Sorry.
So it's got the same packaging as the rest of them. This has got a nice bright orange. You've got a little bit of the holographic or whatever.
Yeah, it's cool.
The holograph, the
light,
silver.
So, and then in the hologram there is writing.
Yep.
Oh no shit.
So and it comes in the same kind of box as the black, the red dot, and everything else. So this was part of it. We did have Shawn Williams on the show. Shit, now this is like 4 years ago when they first rebranded everything.
Yeah. I think the blue was the first one he came out with the new packaging, and then the white and then the red. They all went to the same kind of packaging.
Yeah, and so that's where it was interesting to see that Cigars and Banded Solid Cigar from New World Cohiba. That's absolutely. I was surprised that they just my honest gut reaction when I first saw the project. It was like, so you're telling me that you are going to package it in the same quality as your $20 to $30 MSRP cigars, same bands, the same quality boxes, same clasps, the overall same presentation, and then we as retailers and consumers have to be like, okay, so this one that looks the same quality-wise as this black, this Royale, $27, $30, $11. I don't like. What's wrong with the orange one?
Yeah,
that obviously is shit. You know what I mean? Like that. It's just it's a very bold move because General, Nate, before you said it, like General is like Cohiba's up on the top of their list, right? And then we had on the show the 3 of us actually. Sean, you were on it with the Spectre, $150. Now that was a lot of different packaging on that one, but you had this $150.
Cigar with a $150 bottle of bourbon.
And we had that. That was a great night. This is a great night. But so it was just one of those things where you're like, how are you going to do with this? Is this going to cheapen your brand because you have Cohiba up top, and then it kind of not dwindles, but then it goes down. You've got Enforged over here as a sister company that used to be part of General, portfolio. Now they split that. And it was like, then you have CAO coming out with Fosses that are like $8, $9. And then you have, and I was like, why is this called a Cohiba?
Yeah.
What are your guys' thoughts on that? I'll leave it to you guys. I have my, opinions on that.
Yeah, it is kind of lopsided. Like if you look at the Padrones, they kind of go high, but they kind of gradually go down. So it's not like a big jump. So it's either, I would at least raise one of this or the blue, maybe to 15 to kind of make a straight line instead of just a huge gap. Filling it, either that or develop a new cigar that can fill that gap, and then that way it would be more consistent.
So when this cigar first came out at the Tinder Box, I was very cautious about it. So I run the humidor at Carfagna's, and it was over a year ago that I had brought in my distributor had a Cohiba product that was far less expensive than Red Dot, than Riviera, and, some of those high-end Cohibas. They were offering a Cohiba that was a sub $10 cigar. I was like, oh, cool, that's awesome. Bring in a sub $10 Cohiba. I brought it in the store and I smoked it, and I was like, that cigar is terrible.
Which one was it?
It was called the Dominicana.
Okay.
And it was not a great cigar. The construction wasn't there. The burn wasn't there. It didn't do that well for me. I ended up putting it into samplers to help move it. Mm-hmm. So when the Rubicon came out, and I saw the Tinder Box is selling it for like $11 to $13, depending on the size.
Mm-hmm.
Because of my experience, I was very, very cautious. Like, okay, here's a low end Cohiba. This is even lower than the blue. And when we had Shawn Williams on the podcast and we did the blue, I flat out said, like, I think the cigar does what it's supposed to do for Cohiba and be a lower end and get people into Cohiba. Like at that time, $14. I was like, I think I rated that cigar like a 7. The blue.
Mm-hmm.
I just didn't think there was a whole lot there to warrant that price point. So I was very cautious when this came out. And then I smoked one. And I was like, holy shit. You know, $12.95 the Tinder Box has the Toro?
Yeah.
Because that's
so
with OTP and
yeah,
taxes and stuff in there.
Yeah, MSRP is surprisingly low.
But yeah, you're talking like a $12 to $13 cigar for the Toro. And I'm like, holy cow, like this cigar's got a lot going on. There's a lot of flavor. It's not overly powerful. Medium plus, medium full. It's got nice body. It's got a lot of flavor to it. The cigar impressed me so much that I brought it into my humidor at Carfantes.
Good.
And so now I sell this cigar in the Toro size because
Nice.
I think this is better than the blue. I think it's better than the red dot.
Totally different.
Totally different cigars. Like I agree, but I think with what you're getting out of this cigar is a lot better than some of their other stuff. Like the Cohiba Black is probably still one of my favorite Cohibas because it's big, bold, it's dark, gritty. I love that cigar.
Yeah, broadleaf over Dominican.
Yeah. This one, it's got so much flavor. Like there are times I have to tell customers because they'll even look at it and be like, Cohiba, $12? And I'm like,
What's wrong
trust
with
me.
What's the catch?
I'm like, dude,
Yeah,
trust
that's
me.
exactly right.
Buy one and then come back and let me know what you think. And that's what brings people back like, holy shit. For a $12, $13 smoke, like this is absolutely banging.
Yeah.
And I was pleasantly impressed with getting this cigar with this brand at this price point.
Yeah.
That I had to start carrying it in my humidor.
That's yeah. The price point part of it, and that's interesting. Again, it's hard not to talk about when they brand it under the Cohiba name. I won't give out all the information I know about this because it was kind of just more in a conversation I had with some people from STG. But this was an intentional price point. I think they from what I understand, there was a bit of a focus group at their annual meeting with their employees, with their reps, with their sales team. The powers that be were like, do you think we could sell this at this price point? And it all goes into like when you were talking about some of the wine stuff and the whiskeys and the prices. I mean, there are different reasons on why things cost the way they do.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, you talk about like the U.S. broadleaf as a binder. That's kind of a not newer thing, but it is kind of it's starting to become a newer thing. You wonder, it's like all that you really see typically is the Connecticut or U.S. broadleaf. And I don't know if it's Pennsylvania because they don't say it says U.S., but especially with like the Connecticut broadleaf, it's all wrapper leaf. They use a lot of the broadleaf for other things.
Well, so I think part of that reason, so a small fraction of your tobacco leaf is good enough quality to be used as a wrapper.
That's my point.
Stuff not as good look and smoothness to be a wrapper makes an awesome binder leaf at
it also makes
less expensive.
It makes a good leaf to roll marijuana with, which is where a lot of the broadleaf was going as well. So that's
really,
yes.
That's right.
So that's where I'm looking at this, where it was like,
because it's a hardy leaf.
How can you keep this down? You start thinking like, all right, so the broadleaf, they're getting broadleaf. Maybe it's Connecticut. It could be Pennsylvania. I don't know, but it's like, it doesn't taste like Pennsylvania broadleaf in the mix for me, but it could be. Again, the binder leaf, they should be able to get that cheaper than some of the other stuff. The binder leaf doesn't have to be pretty. It's more combustible. So you're not necessarily doing the choice and the higher price stuff. So they were able to do it, but they brought it to the sales team, to my knowledge, and it was like, what do you think we need to charge the blue price or even higher with this blend. They're smoking it and all this stuff. And it's before, packaging's all there, I don't think. And even the people I was talking to, it wasn't just sales reps, some other people from the company. I was like, they were kind of like, yeah, I mean, sure, we can sell it for that. Or we should, can we sell it for that? On the flip side, throwing it back to the powers that be, like, can we sell it for that and make money? And they're like,
you can. Is it going to move as well?
So far, it's been selling well, very well.
Yeah. I mean, this is one of those that I've been so impressed with, that when I get customers looking for recommendations, like, this is for people that are looking in that medium to full body range. Like, this is one of the first cigars I go to. Like, if you haven't had this, you got to try this.
How much is the blue?
Blue's, call it 15, 16.
I would switch it. I would put
You can't
this up.
now.
Well, but
Yeah.
I'm just saying you can mark this up to 17, really. Bring the blue down.
So this is what I think
you'd
the
have that-
intention was.
You wouldn't have the gap.
From my vantage point, or from a retailer's standpoint, is we are doing the opposite with the Cohiba Rubicon that we do with when a company known for lower price cigars comes out with a higher price point. And when you say, all right, take CAO, one of theirs, right? So if CAO comes out with a higher price point cigar, all right, I know, like, CAOs, think about this. I'm not saying this is, I'm just trying not to call out a specific company. Take what you know about them, and this is a $25 CAO. Like, I know you normally pay $10, $12,
Sure.
$13. Get it out of your head. This is a CAO.
Yep.
I
Just
just want
for
you to
example.
smoke it.
For example.
We're doing the opposite with this. A lot of people are like, I don't know, Cohibas aren't worth it. I don't really smoke Cohibas. I don't really like them because they're thinking, like, I pay $20, $30 for this cigar. I don't think it's that good.
Yeah.
I don't like it. I can buy other ones for cheaper. We're doing the exact opposite with this one. We're like, all right, take Cohiba out of the equation. Don't think Cohiba. Just smoke.
Take the Bayhand off and smoke.
I know
it.
this, and it's like you're trying to convince someone that to smoke a less expensive cigar, and they're hesitant because normally they're thinking of a higher price cigar that they may or may not like. But they're like, I don't know, Cohibas they're okay for the price. And it's like, no, I'm just like, this is actually only $11, $12 or whatever, $10. Just let me take the band off, smoke the cigar. It's just really ironic that we're actually trying to push people into a lower price cigar as opposed to what has happened in the past when a company takes a bigger swing at a higher price point. We're like, I know it's a lot for again, CAO.
Yeah.
Just try it. It doesn't smoke like that. And it's like
Like I
we're doing the
said-
opposite, saying smoke a cheaper cigar.
Like I said, that's what
It's
happened.
weird.
That's what happened to me when I brought into the Carfanis Humidor, the Cohiba Dominicana. I was excited to get a sub $10 Cohiba,
Right.
and I smoked it, and I was like the construction and the quality just wasn't there.
Mhm.
Like, I could sit there and understand why that was a sub $10 Cohiba.
Yeah.
So when this came out, I still had those same reservations.
Right.
And then I smoked it, and I was like, holy shit, this is a cigar that punches way above its price point.
The construction is really good. So I actually think I like this Robusto box press a lot.
The Robusto, they do the box press, and then the Toro and 6x60, they do a round.
Round.
Yeah.
This is probably my favorite size of them.
This is the first time I've smoked the Robusto.
Smokes very well.
Yeah.
Construction good. I know, Shawn, you're having some issues.
No,
I
it's
will
me,
admit
it's the
this.
user.
No, it's cold out here, and I told the guys before this is that these were sent from STG for the podcast, and it's my fault. I did not have them in the humidor the appropriate amount of time before smoking it. So obviously it's not falling apart, but
it's still smoking
well.
just fine
Yeah.
for me.
But yeah, so that's this cigar. Like I said, it's surprising because what are you guys getting on the flavor? I get a little bit of that spice, but I think it's also coming from the whiskey contrast from the sweet from the whiskey, but this definitely has a little bit more spice to it.
It does. And I've noticed what surprised me, I thought it'd be a little bit heavier on the retrohale. I get like a floral notes in the retro.
Mhm.
And it's not like maybe everyone does the first retro and it's kind of woo, but then after you kind of get used to that, you really start to bring out the flavor, pick up the flavors, and it's awesome. I mean, it's not like I was surprised it's medium full because usually that is, I know, and I've learned that not all medium fulls come out strong like that with peppery,
Yeah.
but this was very, very smooth on the front and the back.
Yeah.
Surprisingly. So
It's got just a little bit of spice on the retro. I agree with you, Shawn. It's like there's a lot of floral notes coming through on the nose. On the palate, like there's for lack of a better term, like there's a char flavor on the palate. I think there's a lot of woody and earthy tone on the palate to the cigar, but it's very rich. It's very robust in the flavor. And sometimes you can get a cigar that's lighter body, a lot of flavor, or a cigar that's fuller body, not a lot of flavor, or just full and full. And sometimes when you get a full and full, it's kind of hard to pick out some of those flavors. But I think when you get a cigar that has got like a medium strength, but then the flavor is even richer and more robust than what the strength, it almost catches you off guard.
Yeah.
Because you're not used to it.
Right.
Because the cigar doesn't necessarily hit you, but the flavor just absolutely blows up in your palate.
Yeah.
Like there's so much going on there. Yeah. I did whiskey, or I did cigar and then the whiskey. And now I'm going to do whiskey to cigar and see how that changes. But I mean, because I don't want to give away pairings.
I'm curious to see what you think.
Yeah. And let's roll into that for part one here. Whiskey, cigar, and the pairing rating. Shawn, do you want to start with this? So no. Yeah.
I'm kind of not sure what I'm getting at. If he says it, it may be like, oh yeah.
Well, let me go then.
Okay.
The whiskey. So we do this out of 10 points for all of them, right? So, the whiskey for me, I'll give it a solid 8. It's really enjoyable. It's light, it's sweet, the butterscotch, the vanilla, all the things that we've talked about here in the beginning of this part one it's still there. I mean, on its own, but I wouldn't go much higher than that just because it is almost too sweet.
Light? Too
not
sweet?
Light, too sweet. I'm not doing Wolfpack NWO. I'm saying just too sweet. You guys remember that? Too sweet? No?
Oh yeah.
Like too sweet. But
exactly what we're talking about.
You said NWO. I was.
That's triple A.
All right. So anyway, sorry.
Suck it.
All right, you got it, nailed it. But it's almost a little bit too sweet. As you sip on it, it's good, but it's now that I've smoked a cigar and the burn's gone from the whiskey after a couple here, it tastes almost like a flavored whiskey.
Oh.
It's which is a compliment probably if it's not, you know what I mean? If it's just all the way they did this, it's very I keep saying it's sweet. It's almost too much as you get into it. The first one or first pour we had, it was a little more complex for me.
Yep. Do that.
Cigar, I'm right there. I actually 825 on it. I think this is really good. The price point might even push it higher. When you can get a solid cigar, Cohiba or otherwise, for even under, let's call it the average price point of $12 to $15, which is where we're at, especially with the way prices have increased this year, just in general, and then also with the tariffs coming through, this is just it's a very, very solid smoke, and I'd say it's great for if you like the flavor. It's priced at a point. This could be like a daily. The pairing for me, I'm 7.75.
Yeah, I agree. Okay.
I think we could pair this better on both sides. You guys trying to find the live chat, or you guys?
Yeah.
And then I do this. No.
No, it's in the box there. You hit it. Not the description. Hit X on that. Here we go. We're just doing a tutorial on YouTube. Is there a live chat anywhere? Click the video itself. No, we'll figure it out here. Let's keep going.
I can share this with you.
There you go. There's not a whole lot of comments with this. You can't.
Once Ray leaves, it'll be dead.
Yeah. Right. Well, we had Cigars Unbanded, which those are good guys over there. We appreciate that. Again, I did not expect a high viewer count because we get most of our traction through Facebook. So we'll see if people find us. Let's do this and see what the aftermath is too.
Sure.
Yeah. Shawn, go ahead with your ratings.
Yeah. The bottle. I'm gonna go. I'll go 8.5 because it's nice to every once in a while have something where it's not gonna burn your esophagus. So it's, to me, I don't really get much burn on the back end, and maybe I'm just used to higher stuff, and so then now I drink lighter things, and I'm like, I don't feel shit, you know. So
Drinking up, you'll feel it.
so I'm like, so with the, yeah, and I totally agree with you though. When the front, you know, when you take that first glass, you get the complex, and then you start hitting the second, it definitely sweetens out because your palate's now adjusted to it. So, so like if you want a nightcap for this, just drink one glass and be done with it. So you just stick with that, or take a break, come back later and do it that way. Because I do like that. I'm excited for like people that are new to it. I think it should be more their speed. And if you can get through the first glass, the second, they're going to be like, this is perfect, because it takes, and that disappears after a while. So I'll stick with 8.5. I do like the notes, but the more you drink it, the more it starts to become just the sweetness, and you don't have anything else to it. So, but still 8.5, because I just, you know, I think the price point and the 10-year, and it's not overly crazy. And I think it's a good one to have on your shelf for, like I said, like a 1 glass nightcap, and put it away and you'll be good. And if you need a second, try something different. But I think with the cigar, I'm going to give it an 8.5. I enjoy the shit out of it. I mean, the construction, I like the wrapper. It stands out when you're walking through anywhere at a shop. That thing's going to blow up. I mean, it's right there. So it's kind of like advertises itself by having that color.
Orange.
Yeah. So, so that's why 8.5 on that, because I think that's, and I really enjoy cigars that have that floral flavor, and it's just, there's some complexity to it that I enjoy. So I'll give you that. But the pairing, I'm going to go to 7.5 as well. I don't really get much where it's like you drink it and hit it, or you hit it and you drink it. There's not much there to like really offset one to the other, or like, you know, you can do the drink and the hit and you're like, oh my God, it brings out all these different flavors. It doesn't do that at all to me. So 7.5 for that one.
I almost feel like going whiskey to cigar. It's not the greatest.
No, I don't.
Going cigar to whiskey, I'm okay with.
Yeah. And you would think with it being a medium full, usually if you have the opposite, you would think that like where this is more of a, you know, obviously smoother and lower proof. And with a medium full cigar, you would have like a contrast where you'd go, okay, I see it. Neither of these really do that. It's just the same to me. I don't get much. So
Nate, how about you?
Nate's going to blow us out of the water.
So on the whiskey, I'm going to go 7.25 on the whiskey. It's again, this is the first time I've ever had this bottle. It's a very good whiskey, I would say. I think from a retail standpoint, I think people that are spending $80 on a bottle of bourbon, a lot of consumers out there are going to want a little bit more than what this has to offer.
Yep.
I think they want a little bit higher proof. They want a little higher complexity. They want more richness. More of those lighter butterscotch vanilla notes, not those heavy, deep caramel and char notes to this whiskey. It's a solid product. And I actually like this better than some other toasted products that I've had.
Yeah.
I've had, because I do like toasted finish products. You know, I loved the Watershed Toasted. That was, I told Ryan when he was here, like, that's the best fall finishing that I've ever had from them. But I think for some of the other stuff on the market that's toasted, this one comes in just a little light, especially for the price point. For $80, some other toasted products are, you know, in that $55, $60 price point that I think deliver a little bit more. This is still a very solid product. I just think they're maybe a little bit reaching with that price point.
Okay.
10-year,
but
kind of pushes that over too, though.
The 10-year is going to push that price a little bit, because all the other toasted ones that I've had have been coming in way less than that 10-year price point. So them having to buy a
There it is.
10-year bourbon,
That's
there
waiting
is
for
a
that.
cost associated
Yeah,
with
Sure,
that.
that's what I was thinking.
So I can't fault them for that because they have to buy a 10-year-old bourbon from a distillery. Like that's going to cost you because the distillery that made it, they had to pay to make the product. They've had to pay to have that in their rick house year after year,
Yeah.
and then lose from evaporation some of that. Like they have to recoup their cost. So there is something associated with that.
Mhm.
I think this is someone who is looking for an older bourbon and because they don't like rye. Because usually when you hear WhistlePig, you associate with rye.
That's the whole different
I get a
story.
lot of people that come into the store and they're like, I don't like rye. Like, okay, well, try it. You know, like this could be something to get them into WhistlePig's portfolio.
Sure.
I think this is a good gateway. I think the piggyback 6-year bourbon and this is a good gateway into some of their other products because it shows like they do know what they're doing. Even though they're not making the original juice, it shows that with the way they are finishing things, this could lead you to that 10 and 12-year product that they come out with. I just think for a straight bourbon toasted, it's a little bit reaching, but I don't fault them for that because
It's understandable,
it's
but it's
10
not
years.
gonna
You're
make
talking
you
8
wanna-
years $1. That's in line with a lot of 10
You're
years.
just not. You're not going to jump back to restock on your bar though
No.
at that
Yeah.
price for what you're getting. How about the cigar?
Cigar. For the price of this smoke and what it delivers, I'm going to give this cigar a 9.
Nice. Okay.
I thoroughly enjoyed this cigar. The very first one I had, I was like, holy cow, you're telling me I can get a $12 Cohiba that delivers that much flavor and complexity? Sign me up.
$10 whatever, right? I mean,
Like, and that's why I started carrying it in my humidor.
Good.
Because I think it's an absolutely fantastic cigar. There's a lot of even the Cohiba products that if you sit there and you line up the entire Cohiba portfolio and someone says, all right, whatever you want, like this is probably going to be one of the top 3. This is probably going to be one of the top 3 Cohibas that I reach to. Like this cigar is absolutely fantastic. A lot of flavor. It's not overwhelming on the body. It's just a fantastic cigar. And I think you are getting more than your money's worth out of this cigar.
you're on the same page as us with the pairing. You were
Pairing.
shaking and nodding your head when we were talking.
So pairing, I'm going to do a 7.5 on the pairing. If you go cigar and then whiskey, suddenly the whiskey tastes a lot sweeter than it did even before. It's so smooth. It goes down so easy because you already have the spice on your palate. Yeah. So when you go to the cigar, your palate's welcoming the sweetness of the whiskey.
Yeah.
And that sweetness is amplified and sticks out even more. When you go whiskey to cigar, it almost hinders the cigar a little bit. Yeah. Like going that direction, I really don't care for this. It throws the cigar off.
Yeah.
Like I like the cigar by itself. Love the cigar by itself. You go whiskey and then drink this cigar or then smoke this cigar. It's like, you lose some of what the cigar has.
Yeah.
You smoke the cigar, you enjoy the flavor profile of the cigar, then go to whiskey. It amplifies the whiskey.
That's right.
And and that's one of the beauty of doing these things. Not everything pairs great. Some pair better one way or the other. This one definitely cigar to whiskey is like cigar to whiskey would be like an 8.5 pairing. Whiskey to cigar is sub 7 on the pairing. So I'm just going to split the difference and do a 7.5 on the pairing.
What cigar do you think would go good with this?
The whiskey?
Yeah.
Well, I think
BS Gold.
So there are a few cigars I think go great with just about any whiskey on the market. BS Gold, Crown Heads Mil Diaz, because the Peruvian and Costa Rican tobacco act like a palate reset. So every time you smoke the cigar and then go back to the whiskey, it's like the first sip all over again. I think the Espinosa Habano
I think the Cohiba Blue would go better with it in the same portfolio.
Really?
I do.
Why?
Not as bold. I mean, this is not a bold cigar, but I think it's more of a, you get a little bit more cedary notes. So a little lighter wood. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like kind of not a sweet.
The blue is a lighter profile cigar
Yeah.
than this.
Or
So-
probably, I mean, price point, but the Cohiba Connecticut would probably go well.
Ooh, that one. Yeah. Yeah.
Let's roll into.
I'm gonna go pee outside.
You can go pee.
I'm gonna go piddle.
All right, we're gonna stay live while Shawn urinates.
Okay, thanks for that.
We're calling you out.
Ray was saying that the ratings are too long. Sorry, Ray. Glad you're still with us and not at the dentist. You could always take.
Or is he at the dentist? And
I was gonna say you could just tell
He's in the waiting room.
tell a dentist you're gonna be watching something and see it mounted up on the ceiling or something like that. This is so part two. We'll cruise into this. Shawn, you don't even close the door. You're not in a bathroom. Just don't pee in the garage.
Put it away.
New year, new or old you. This is the last show we're going to do through 2025 here. We'll see you guys in 2026 after this. We typically will do kind of a year-end show. Next week, we're not able to do it. Then you have Christmas Eve, New Year's Eve, stuff like that coming up. So we're trying to squeeze this in for sure, even with last night's technical difficulties. But new year, new or old you. This is kind of an open-ended thing. A lot of times you talk about New Year's resolutions. It's all about, I'm going to start, your classic thing. Eat better, work out more. I'm going to really take care of myself, better, be, kinder, be whatever it might be. You're going to have these improvements. And I don't know if it's always the case you need to have that. I mean, you want to build on your strengths. I feel a lot of times people will try to reinvent themselves a bit, almost too much. And a lot of times when you do like the new diets, the new workouts, the new whatever it might be, there's a lot of failure that comes with that shortly thereafter. They're short-lived resolutions, and kudos to those that can keep things going and really turn a corner. And sometimes you need the calendar to help you turn a corner or to really kind of reset. But I'm curious to talk to you guys. And Ray, I know you're listening out there, you said, and people that might listen after the fact or you're tuning in now. Again, we're on YouTube. So if you guys are watching or you see the links and tune in, make sure to add, like and subscribe so you get the alerts on YouTube. We definitely have less followers on YouTube, but we want to try to build that up in 2026. So that's the new year, new podcast. We're going to be really pushing YouTube for the streams and the video, and we'll still post it on the audio. So you hopefully can listen to us there and join us on the Facebook page still, on the Bourbon and BS community page. Follow us on Bourbon and BS podcast and all that good stuff. But Nate, how about you? 2025, 2026. How was 2025? How, good year, bad year? You think it's going to be 2026? You got things you want to do better?
Shawn,
I would just fill on top of it for now.
2025 definitely presented some challenges, both professionally and personally.
Mm-hmm.
Home life, there were some adjustments. Early on in 2025, my wife had lost her job, thankfully she just started a new position with a new company.
Congratulations, Jess.
And that's actually in line with what she is, in the last semester for her master's degree in. So she's definitely growing in that. So yes, it was a little bit of a step back, but I think that step back has provided a path upward that she necessarily wouldn't have had if she had just been staying where she was.
Yeah.
So I think that's going to bring about some positive changes in our household. But there were definitely some things early on in 2025. There were some issues and some heartfelt conversations that I had to have with people early on in the year. Some things that I was concerned about, some struggles I was dealing with personally and at home. that I think throughout the year, kind of an ebb and flow. Things got better, then they fell back, then they got better again. I think that was one of those things where, when you realize, hey, when we take these steps to do certain things, things are better overall. Like let's try and focus on doing those better things. That way things are better throughout. Career wise, I got a new boss, new management.
Mm-hmm.
My main job, and that's definitely presented some struggles. Different struggles than previously. I will
There's
say
always
that.
going to be struggles.
I feel like work wise, I get appreciated more than I did before.
Nice.
But I still think there's opportunity for improvement in that field. But I think it's opened up, at work, my ability to be able to do what I do best, which, really what I do best in my main job is customer interaction. And I think now I've kind of been afforded an opportunity to do a little bit more of that. Not necessarily as much as I would like, but it's still an improvement.
Still got to work, man.
Still, well, yes. No,
I can just talk to customers all day.
But no, I think there's more that I can do. It's
Sure.
more about being given the opportunity to do those things.
Mhm.
But I think I have a better chance to do that now than I did previously.
Good. How about you?
Hmm?
You?
Like me personally, there's been a lot of stuff that's happened over the last year. There's been some stuff recently that's happened in our country that's made me hardened one way or the other. And, I'm still going to feel the way I do. I don't not necessarily going to express that to everyone
Okay.
that I interact with. But it's who I've always been. So I think next year you're still going to get that, because that's me. You're still going to get me. I've never been one to go out of my way to, pick a fight, pick an argument, piss people off.
Just comes naturally.
Well, something depends on who you are. Yes. But it's more one of those where a lot of stuff that's happened this year, I've learned more. I can only control what I can control.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna necessarily care about as much the stuff I can't. If someone has a different opinion, cool, you be you. I'm not gonna get in discussion, argument. Once I realize,
Just in general, or is there a certain arena?
just in general.
Okay.
Just in general. There's nothing necessarily specific. Even though there's been some issues and some topics of conversation that have come up this year, I'm like, nope.
Not engaging.
Nope.
All right, so that's something.
Because I had said something and then someone said something to me about it. Do you feel like you're being oppressed? I'm like, I'm not gonna engage in that conversation.
Yeah, tough conversation to have in 2025.
Yeah, no.
2026 probably not much better.
I flat out lied and said, nope. Oppressed? No. Repressed? Maybe. But if I sat there and was honest, that person, I don't think I can talk to you honestly. That's going to damage that relationship. And if I have to talk to that person on a regular basis, probably not going to go over well.
All right. So that's you rounding out 2025. Shawn, how about you? We'll get to 2026 next. New year, new or old you?
I hope it's new.
So let's not talk about 2025 then.
No, I mean, I can briefly, but it's just I've been up and down with a lot of things, health wise and mental health wise, and it's just reared its ugly head a couple of days ago with my job, and so now it's things that I've been working on to kind of deal with that. it was a surprise. I felt almost like it was an ambush that I was brought up to me a couple days ago. And I think the one thing that helped me, like I've been doing counseling a lot because there was depression, anxiety and shit. And I've kind of learned some of those tools. And one thing that I think the big thing for me is I'm going to try to do, and I actually did it this past couple of days, was what I was ambushed with. I didn't respond right away because I was so pissed that if I would have said anything,
control and gather your emotions.
Yeah. So I know that I just needed to just say, yes, okay, got it. And just let it go. And then it gives me time to stew on it and then let me sleep on it. Let me think about what I want to say, reflect.
Yeah.
And look at it from a different perspective than when I was hit with it, because the one I wanted to say was like, fuck you guys, that kind of thing. That wouldn't have accomplished anything. I would have lost my job. But now I've had a couple of days and I've used a lot of the tools that I've had for counseling in terms of handle it. I had a session today and it really put me back into like, this is okay. I get it now. And so I was able to go back to my immediate boss at work and kind of tell him how I feel and how pissed about I was, and like own what I've done wrong. And I accept that, but there was also more factors to it than just that.
Yeah.
And I wanted to bring it to the forefront. And so it was
stand up for yourself.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. And so I did, but I did it in a way that was more calculated and more like, instead of being emotional, it was more like, here are the facts.
There you go. Overcoming the emotional response.
Here are the facts. This is what you missed. And this is what I feel that you missed. And the one thing I said to him today was like, there's nothing I can do about it right now. In the past, there's nothing I can do. All I can do is move forward. And now instead of moving forward out of fear and hoping I don't screw up, now I'm pissed. I'm like, fucking watch me.
Really?
Watch me fix this shit.
Yeah.
And that's what I want to bring in to next year is like advocating for myself, standing up for myself, and being confident in what I'm capable of doing, and taking certain steps personally outside of my job that could help me improve better the next year.
Anything that's applicable to the audience in general?
I think
specifics. You don't have to get into specifics.
No, I don't. I'm not getting specifics, but it's more of a lot of time I worked for companies that had micromanagers, and nothing was ever good enough. And I always worked, like no matter how hard I worked, there was never like an acknowledgement of like, hey, great work on that. I don't want to fucking parade, but I want to know I'm on the right track. Right. And if they say, oh, that's great, what else you got? Well, I still don't know what the fuck, what do you want from me? Mm-hmm. And so now it's more of a, and then this whole thing that happened it was more fear of messing up, fear of making the same mistake. And also now, like when I initially got this thing, it's like, it's not just affecting me, it's affecting my family, because I could possibly lose my job if I don't get my shit together with what they want. And I intend to do that. But that just compounded the fear of making the same mistakes over and over and over, instead of lightly walking on eggshells, making sure I don't do anything wrong. I'm like, fuck that. I'm going to take what I've my knowledge and my skills and what I know I can do and apply that. So I guess to people out there, it's like, if there's something that triggers you or something that like beats you down, but you're correct, or you own up for your mistakes, they maybe bring up and be like, that's correct. However, stand your ground with what you have. And when you make a decision, back your own decision up. Because I was just like, okay, whatever. I'm so sorry, and I'm like, fuck this. I need to be that more assertive and say, and call it people that affect the way I'm working, and say, all right, this is the new me now. You've got my attention, and I'm going to moving forward. And I think that's the one thing is I dwell on the past and let that eat me up. Now I'm like, well, I can't do anything about it now. It's like playing golf. Hit a bad shot, let it go. Yeah. Ted Lasso, have a memory of a goldfish. Move fucking forward and have an attack plan as to how you're going to do it. So now I'm more not afraid. I'm more like, bring it. So I guess that's the one thing. If you plan to change it for you or the company.
More important question, Ray says, if you plan to change, is it for you or to accommodate others?
It was before trying to accommodate others. Now I've seen the light. I've seen the light, Ray. I've seen the light. And now I'm like, fuck this. This is how it's going to be from now on. And if you don't like it, fire me. But I'm going to stand by what I do and back up what I say or do. And if I make a mistake along the way, I'll own up to it. But after that, it's on. This is my way.
I think one of the issues that a lot of people run into professionally is they have superiors that want other people to do things that person may not have the skill set to do or the ability to be able to do. And like they're asking their employees to do something that is out of their comfort zone, out of their skill set, for the sake of, oh, you should be able to do this. Well, I've never done that. I've never been taught how to do that. Like I'm just doing what I know how to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if you can approach those higher ups, be like, look, this is what I'm good at. I do this very well. I do this better than most people in the company. Can I do everything? Maybe not. But I'm really good at what I do. One, let me do what I do best.
Mm-hmm.
If there's something else that you want me to do, give me the opportunity to do it, but also afford me the opportunity to fail because I've never done it.
Mm-hmm.
But if I do something I've never done before and I fail, tell me where I failed. Tell me why I failed. If you can do that, I have the ability, because I'm not an idiot, I have the ability to adjust and adapt. Okay, I've done this my whole career a certain way. You want me to do it a different way, that's fine, but afford me the opportunity to grow and fail in order to be better at that.
Well, and before all that, they have to communicate with you.
Oh, communicate. Oh,
That's the biggest problem that I have with it.
That's where you didn't say that. And
right.
Nate,
No,
you're not saying that. I mean, all good points, but that seems to be a reoccurring theme.
Yep.
People around me, I've had it. I haven't had as much recently in my life, professionally, personally, or anything. In my 2025, it's not been as apparent, but I've experienced that at work. I've experienced that in everyday life and friends and personal relationships. But I mean, like for, Nate, I've heard you over the last year, Shawn, with what's going on. It sounds like it's the bigger problems accumulate to be the larger problems or the alarming situations because it was not communicated. It was more or less, it wasn't even assumed. It was just, it changed on the one party's side of what the objectives or the directives are. And then you're just like, why are you like, we've been going down this path. I've been doing this a certain way for so long. And now you're coming at me and said, I wish you would have been doing it differently. And it's like, that doesn't help to say after the fact.
Yeah.
If you never said that wasn't the agreed upon, or you didn't tell me that this is not what you're expecting. This is not what's making you happy as an employer, for example. You need to have the clear. There was a time in my life that I was in a career that I was like, you had weekly one-on-ones with a lot of your staff. And it's like, that doesn't happen anymore. I always used to hate it when in my last career, I would have an annual review and I would be sitting down and say it's first quarter of the following year and you're reflecting back and the supervisor or the owner of the company was having to do it for their job, basically this is before all the bullshit stuff that I hear now is happening because I don't have reviews of my job now. But it's like all the bullshit where it's like you have to do your own review and then you submit it to them. And you're like, that's the fucking laziest thing I've ever heard. You know what I mean? Like, you don't even want to do your fucking job as my supervisor and critique me. You want me to do it. And then you can take that kind of like you, Shawn, earlier, like, I want to hear what you rate the cigars and stuff so that I can jump on that. It's like, that's what these employers are doing. They're like, hey, do a peer review. And then their supervisors want you to review on them, on the middle person. And it's like, this is not how it's the way I was raised. It used to be. And maybe it's the changing of the way this country, at least, and maybe the world's changing because you don't want to upset anyone. But it's like, you need to not, like, I would get it. Like, it would be on my annual review. And I'm like, that was 7 months ago that we're talking about. Like, why didn't you tell me 7 months ago when this was going on? And then now all of a sudden we've had more of the same issues because I was doing what I thought I was supposed to be doing. And you told me way after the fact. Like, you should have told me. And like now it's snowballed to a point that's like, there's been so many more errors in your mind because of that. It's like, were you just holding on to it for the review? So you had something
oh no,
like tell me, and then in the review, be like, hey, back in fucking June when you know this was going on, we had a conversation. I'm really happy with the way that you responded, or I'm not happy with the way you responded. You never gave me a chance to respond accordingly because you fucking sat on it and then told me way after the fact. You're like, well, it's like relationships are the same way they can be. It's like, well, I've been unhappy for a while. It's like, what?
Yeah, that drives
where
me
the
nuts.
fuck was that?
That drives me crazy. And
why'd you tell me when you were unhappy towards the beginning?
I will admit that my boss presented this like almost a month ago when I was not doing well. And he was like, dude, I tried to get it done that day so we could bring it up then. And through all the bureaucratic red tape and go through HR and follow proper procedures, they dumped it on me 2 days ago. So, and since then I've improved. And I even said, what do you think I've been doing the last couple of weeks? Have I improved or not? He's like, oh, you've improved by a lot. He goes, and I'm sorry that it turned out that way because I had to wait for all the bullshit red tape. So the only one thing is that maybe it was against his, the job to like warn me about it, but he didn't. But they've also come up with a way to help. Like, my boss is going to work with me directly and try to correct these problems. They're like, we don't want to lose you.
Yeah. We
want to bring you back to what you're good. We know you were able to do. So I give him props for that.
That's good.
So but I didn't know that when they called, when they did the whole meeting, when I talked to him today, that's when he brought it all up. I'm like, well, shit.
Yeah.
That's a big difference.
So, I mean, I know someone personally that at the beginning of the year, their boss had a meeting with them and was like, all right, here's some things that you've been messing up on. You need to work to improve that. And that was all the conversation was. They didn't do any training. They didn't, work with that person to actually do better. They just said, here's the mistakes you made, do better. And then 3 months later, that person improved. They were making less mistakes, but yet they weren't at the level that the boss wanted, which was never communicated as, here's a goal that you need to get to. That was never communicated. And so even though over the course of 3 months, that person improved, it wasn't to the level that they wanted, which had never been discussed. And so that person was then let go from the position. And like, I did better. Like, you wanted me to do better. I did better. There was no numerical value associated to doing better. There was no goal line set. There was no goalposts.
And there was no brought up from that person, say, hey, you're doing better, but just kick it up a notch.
Yeah.
That way, at least
there was none of that.
Yeah. At least
but then that person, here's one of their friends who gets regular coaching and training and like dedicated time of like, all right, so here's how you do this. If you have issues, let us know. Let us see how you got there. We'll figure out like what happened that was wrong and how to get you to where it was right. Like, let us know how you got there and we'll work on it. The other person never got any of that coaching whatsoever.
Coaching is a big part of it.
Yeah. And Steve, I dealt with the same thing with my old boss where I work now, where we would have a sit down like, so some other people have said this about you. And I'm like, that was 4 months ago. Like, why didn't you say something then? I could have made corrective actions then about that. Like, instead, no one said like, one of the things that drives me nuts, not only is it when a manager sandbags on stuff to wait for a review, but if a coworker has an issue with you, but they never say anything to you about it. Like
within reason, of course.
Within reason, yes. But like, if I do something that offends you and you don't let me know, I don't know that I ever offended you. Like, that doesn't come across on mine because that, like, I said things the way I said things. Like, that's how I am. I didn't know that offended you. But if all of a sudden 4 months later, I get told by our manager, like, hey, you did this and that offended that person. Like, why didn't anyone let me know? Like, how can I can't change what happened, but it was 4 months ago. If you'd let me know then that there was an issue, I could have made adjustments then. Now I got to make adjustments 4 months later. Yes, I can still make those adjustments, but we've lost the 4 months since then.
Yeah, again, you don't want to just knee-jerk react to everything, right? If someone's upset, there's a lot of things, but it's weird in so many organizations. I feel like they're so bloated with all these, call it middle management or middle administration or whatever it might be, and it's like, not even doing, like, the more people, you feel like it should be easier to have a better line of communication, and a lot of times it's like it's not. It's like this party or this level vents to this level, or about this other employee or this party, and then all of a sudden it's like it stops there, and it's
shit
you
rolls
don't want
downhill.
it to just be like open dialogue, that it's just like knee-jerk reaction all the time, because the same thing you were talking about earlier, Shawn, you need to actually take time to kind of reflect and make sure. Yeah, it's like it's not just an emotional thing.
Yeah.
Ray puts it out there here. I would say the majority of personal change is done for the benefit of others and not yourself. He says, my opinion.
Not wrong.
I'm sure in certain cases for sure.
Yeah.
I think
I would say a lot more professionally, but there is an aspect of personal life where I think all of us in relationships, if our significant other comes up to us with a problem or something that they perceive as an issue, we don't necessarily make changes to better ourselves in that area. We make changes in order to appease that other party.
Yep.
And sometimes that's what it probably should happen, because you don't, like we're talking about, you don't know that it's an issue for both parties or just the one party, but you don't know it's an issue if it's not talked about. Let me kind of go with the theme here. I'll put it back up here. New year, newer old you. First of all, I think that too often what we're talking about here, you wait too long. So use this kind of as the overall arcing metaphor for what we're kind of discussing with professional, especially here, because I think that's where this conversation is kind of leaned into. But you can't wait till the new year. You can't wait, with what Ray is saying, the plan to change is for you or to accommodate others. The majority of personal change is done for the benefit of others, not yourself. I don't think a lot of these should be surprises if things aren't going smoothly. Let's stick with at work. There's a lot of times there's tension every day you go in when this is happening. Like the person's not, you're doing your job. You think you're doing a good job. You don't, I'm not so sure if my boss thinks I'm doing a good job. And it's like, this just goes on and on and on until it finally blows up. Same thing with, you during your calendar year. For those, again, let's keep it kind of surface level here. For those that do the New Year's resolutions that I'm going to be a better person, whether it be the way I interact with others, the way my diet and my health, and I'm going to start working out again come, January. The gyms are packed, and, sometimes a little bit before, but typically the first month of the year. It has nothing to do with the calendar. It has nothing to do with January. This is the fact that you already know that you aren't being your best self. And there's typically a lot of signs to that. And it takes a lot, I think, of motivation, and it is personal motivation, but to speak to what Ray and what you guys, like what we've kind of agreed upon with that about appeasing others is a lot of it does start with you. And it does start with the fact that you aren't giving it your all with whatever the situation or the arena is. And I'm not saying you have to be perfect, but it's easy to just continue to slide down whatever the situation may be. I'm trying to keep it as vague, like kind of general as possible. Ray loves it when I talk about like health and everything else. He's always loved that as a viewer. But
let's discuss that for the next 20 minutes here. No,
there's your surface level thing. It's like, I'm going to start working out in January. And you're just like, well, it's September. You can start now. Maybe October. Nah, first of the year. That's going to be it. I'm really turn a corner. Once that,
Because of the holiday, you eat like shit. And blah, blah,
and
blah.
then, yeah, it's the holidays, so I'm going to eat and drink more. And I'm just, I'm not going to have time. It's going to be busy and all that stuff. It's like you're already setting yourself up for failure, and you already know and have, excuse me, it's not just about others. You've self-diagnosed it a lot.
Yep.
You have the self-awareness that you have maybe not identified the root of the problem, but at least what the surface level issue is.
Yeah.
And you just don't do it. You just don't do anything about it.
Yep.
You truly don't. You just keep rolling. And that's where I think the failure is, when we rely on sometimes I'm all for communication from bosses and stuff like that. That's a problem on their end. The powers that be that don't communicate or don't give you the feedback in an appropriate time frame, that it continues to snowball. Same thing with, like, again, your health or your mental health or whatever it might be. You're finding, I'm going to start saving soon. You know what to do. You're just not doing it. And I think that's where a lot of it with this communication from partners, from bosses, even from the employees to the bosses, you just don't say anything because you're afraid that it might be uncomfortable.
Yep.
I think a lot of the change is uncomfortable, but it's like, I don't know. What do you guys think it is, that the fact that, like, a new year changing of a number on a calendar gives people this yeehaw feeling of, now I can change?
It's just, I think it's a lot to do with because everybody else does. And I think a lot of it's too,
It's expected.
And I think you said earlier, like, they reevaluate themselves when it gets close to that and say, all right, this is what I need to do to change. And they say the whole, I want to work out and blah, blah, blah. But I understand that it's kind of like they get a membership and go for a month and then they're done. A lot of it has to do with preparing before the year even ends. Prepare. If you're going to do that, start preparing. Write out a plan. What are you going to do, like, to do and be consistent? Just say you're just going to do one thing, but say, I want to do this and be consistent. Okay, how are you going to do that? Start looking up things like exercises and eating plans or whatever before you even start.
Yeah.
That way you have a plan in place. A lot of people just say they flip the new year and go, all right, going to the gym, going to eat healthy. It's like, okay, what have you done to do anything for it? Well, I'll figure it out.
I think a lot of people do that because, they wait until the new year, because they sit there and they look, okay, this year is now done. That's gone. This is the beginning of a new year. Whereas they should be looking at it as like, this is a new day.
Yeah.
This is a new week. This is a new month. I can start this now. I don't have to wait until a calendar year changes. I can wait until the day changes.
If you start a month prior, at least you go through if you say you're going to start a month prior to do it, at least you're going to go through the steps. And then if you start to falter or fail, like, then you almost can look at it as a way, now I have time to correct it because it's still the new year.
Well, and
it's easy to put on paper.
Professionally, a lot of times I've dealt with the opposite of it, where I have busted my ass doing everything I can, like doing above and beyond what I can do, picking up the slack for others, because other people sit there and go, you know what, I'm not going to do this because I know Nate's going to do it. And, I deal with that a lot. And I'm like, this didn't get done, or this was done wrong. I shouldn't be the only one that knows how to do this. Like, everyone should be doing these things. And I'm sitting there busting my ass doing all this stuff, picking up the slack for other people. But if I don't get, if no one recognizes my effort for doing all this stuff, you run the risk of, why am I doing all this? Like, why am I killing myself to do all this stuff that no one else is doing, that they should be doing, and then getting no acknowledgement of the effort I put in? That makes that person then sit there and go, you know what? I'm just going to do what I have to do.
Let me ask you this.
I'm not going to sit there and kill myself to do what other people should be doing. I'm just going to do the bare minimum.
Yeah. So that's what's the tipping point there, right? So when you start doing those things because they're not being done, at first you're doing it just because they need to be done. And you're just like, yeah, I'm just going to like, I need to, for you, it's like, I need to stock these shelves. I need to set up this, tasting. I need to do it, whatever it might be, right? Around the house, I'm going to do all this stuff. I think the more stereotypical thing is, from like, I'll use personal example, Kristen does a lot working from home. She does a lot of the things around the house. And it's amazing to me that she can work a high stress job. And then also between that, do loads of laundry, dishwasher, unloading, all this stuff. And it's like, it's phenomenal. But you do all that stuff in a personal relationship, in a career job. What is the tipping point when you feel like you are being taken advantage of or not being appreciated? And then the resentment comes, and then it's a problem.
I think it's a duration issue.
If you would have said,
if it goes on for too long,
if you would have
too
said
many
in the
weeks,
beginning,
too many months,
you would have said in the beginning of your job, like, after the first couple of times you were doing it, first week or two, and you're like, you go to your boss or even the coworkers and be like, boss, especially if you're new doing this stuff, be like, is this normal? Like, am I supposed to be doing this? Or other people like, I just want to like kind of get the bearings on what I'm what's expected. I don't mind doing it, but I kind of notice I'm doing all this stuff, and like, what are we supposed to be doing as a team? Yeah. Like, but that's a tough thing to do because you don't want to ruffle feathers. You don't want to act like passive aggressive. And it's like, but it needs to be said. And it's like, who's going to say it? Because
nothing's going to change.
If it's already getting done, your boss may or may not realize that all of a sudden you condition your coworkers that they don't need to do it because Nate does it.
Right.
But then there is a tipping point of this level of resentment building.
I think a lot of it would be tipping point list for Nate's example would be where he keeps doing everything, and then his boss comes in and like maybe you missed something, said, hey, you didn't do this right. And then that's like, fuck this. None of those motherfuckers do anything. I'm doing it all. So if you're going to get on me, I think that's a good tipping point. Because they have the bosses have no fucking clue.
But communication both ways, right? That's what I'm saying. Like Nate or, whoever's doing that stuff, it should be like before it builds to a boiling point.
Well, and unfortunately, sometimes I have the tendency where I will absolutely I'll do stuff that needs to be done because it needs to be done because I'm looking out for the better of our business, the better of our department. And I'll do that for so long.
Yeah.
And I will make it known like, hey, here's all the stuff that I'm doing. Other people need to be doing this as well. Other people need to be paying attention. We have customers in the aisles that like I'm already working with a customer. Other people need to be engaging customers. Yeah. Other people need to be paying attention to this stuff. I will bring that up so often.
Yeah.
And then eventually I will hit a point where I'm like, okay, I brought this up numerous times. Nothing's been done.
Go above your boss.
Okay. I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm going to do what I need to do.
It's reactive.
But if all of a sudden, like I'm working with a customer, I finish with that customer, I come around the corner and there's 3 other customers standing there waiting for help, I'm going to stand there and be like, I've got 2 people in the store looking at their phones or turning their back to the floor. I'm going to stand here and wait for you guys.
No, how would it go over if you say, kind of like the cigar Tinder Box, like you say, hey, hey, Joe, can you mind handle? Can you get that person real quick?
Yep, got it. Cool.
I'll do it.
Yep. But if you sit there and like, hey, okay, so I've helped the last 3 customers. I got 2 customers standing. I've got 2 staff members standing around. Let's see how long. No one's.
See, that's the resentment right there.
Okay.
That's not the healthy way of not. It's
and
not.
Then,
not your fault.
But then that's when I'll sit there and go, hey, so and so, like, hey, I'm going to help this customer. This customer needs help too. You mind jumping in? Like, I'll make it a point. Like,
okay,
I'm helping this person. This person also needs help.
Yeah.
Get off your ass and do something.
Yeah.
Come on. Like, this is what you're supposed to be doing.
People need to be told.
Quit standing there looking at your goddamn Facebook.
And if it keeps happening like that, document every time you've done that. It covers your ass. So when the boss ever comes back and say, here's a list of the times that I've helped somebody and there's 3 people that have been waiting and there's the other 2 are on Facebook. and you document. So if the boss ever comes back and says, "Hey, what's going on?" say, "Well, let me show you."
Yeah.
Oh, I actually mentioned it to my boss.
But if you document it,
Like I actually bring it up to them. And I'm like, look, I was helping this person, then I helped this person, I helped this person, and then I turn around and look, this person is looking at their phone and has their back
so you told your
turned.
boss.
Like, could you imagine Shawn coming in the Tinder Box? And let's say it was just Steve and Brian working there. Both of them were behind the counter and they had their back to the
Oh,
floor.
that would be.
And you just stood there.
Steve and Brian are the wrong example to use there.
Yeah. I could
But-
say it. Yeah, I could pick another one, but yeah.
But no. but imagine as a customer,
Stop it.
but imagine as a customer, like how you would feel if you walked into a retail establishment and the people working there had their back to the sales floor.
Yeah, no, it's
Like
absolutely
that's
right.
something that I deal with on a regular basis. Like if I sit there and I'm bouncing around helping this customer, that customer, that customer, that customer, but anyone else is doing is just standing behind the counter waiting for people to come up to them instead of them being proactive and going out and helping customers. Like, why am I doing all of this? Like, what? I'm going to make it a point where shit goes downhill and then we all get yelled at. And I'm like, no, you can look at camera footage of watch me help all these customers. And then you can watch camera footage of 4 people standing around.
Or even have your boss take
Go yell at them. Go tell them to get their shit together.
just even say, "Hey, every once in a while, just take a look and see what happens."
Yeah, they might act differently when the boss is around, though.
That's true. Or hide behind a case of fucking wine and do your recon shit. I don't know.
Retail is easy, man. Mystery shoppers, dude.
I wanted to comment on Ray's one question. He wrote earlier, said more important questions if you plan to change it for you or to accommodate others. And I'm gonna be very vulnerable here, Ray. Hopefully you're still listening.
Others.
He also
Flat
would
out.
like you to use less profanity next year. He said, "Here, I'll throw that one up there."
Okay, perfect.
There's
Who
just
was
a
that
quick
directed
note.
to?
It said Shawn.
Oh, Shawn.
Okay,
All right.
Wow.
My
All
fu-
right.
Back to your comment.
my fucking bad, Ray. It's not the first of the year yet, so I can still cuss.
Go fuck yourself.
I feel like you're missing the point.
No, I didn't. So I will try, Ray. Let's put it that way. But I thought we were in the trust tree. All right, I'll stop.
We are.
All right. But that has been almost my whole life is to be accommodating of others. And and my old slogan is don't worry about me. I just want to help others.
Oh.
And I've been that way.
That hits home for me.
I love when Eric Goldhaber, who's been on the show before, that works at Tinder Box part time, when he says, remember he said something, and you're like, "Yeah, I'll go ahead." He's like, "Stop being so nice."
Yeah,
To you, Shawn.
I know. But it's in my nature to do things for others.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, but you
I don't want to go down this road and say what I've done for others because that's not the point. But I
You
am.
gave me was nice.
it's good to do things for others
Like,
until you get
To
taken
give you
advantage
guys to
of.
bring in, like, I'm excited to start bringing in bottles every Saturday for everybody to try it. I brought in a bottle for you, and I brought this for you. It's because I enjoy being able to see happiness on people's faces.
Yeah.
All right. And it's just, I genuinely enjoy that.
Makes you
I will go out. Yeah. And I'll go out of my way to do that. And I think, in counseling, this is the big thing that I'm working on because I don't take care of myself. I don't do things I don't sleep well. I don't drink enough water. I don't eat as much. And I'm probably more malnutritious than I've ever been. And again, it's back to don't worry about me. I'm okay. But now that this whole thing happened with my job, it doesn't just affect me now. It affects my family for potentially losing my job. So now I have to look into myself. And with the counselor, she's been help me do some certain things to be able to focus on me, to help me be a better person, to not only, you can continue to help others, but you got to look out for yourself. And now I'm kind of forced to do that based on what happened 2 days ago. And now this affects directly more than just myself. Now it's like, oh shit. But I almost need to have this all happen because it made me realize that if I keep playing this don't worry about me bullshit, it will affect others.
Well, and you're the nice guy, so people don't really respect that all the time.
Right. And that's why I never got to date many girls in high school because I went to an all boys fucking school
Happily married.
and that's where it all started. Anyway.
It also makes me think of the saying, like, why are you going to kill yourself for someone who would replace you before your funeral?
There's
At
I-
work,
there's-
not your personal life.
that there's more to this than there's some shit that I've thought deep down, and I've even told my wife that when I look back and see what I've said, it's pretty fucked up. And I even had those thoughts today. And
Happy you're here, bud.
thank you. But when I walked in to see her today, she's like, "You're in fight or flight mode. Nothing fight or flight because you're not even thinking straight. All you're doing is just trying to survive." Because I'm not looking inward. I'm looking outward. How does it affect these people? And now all of a sudden it makes me realize, shit, I am not taking care of myself. Like I'm not, like the simple pillars of surviving is eating, sleeping, and having enough, water a day to hydrate yourself. And I've denied myself all of that. And then I'm like, well, shit, no wonder why I've been fucking up. And she's like, yeah, you're taking Vyvanse for your ADHD, but if you're going to keep doing what you're doing, it's not going to help you. The Vyvanse ain't going to work for shit. And so now I'm like, I've got a plan in place. Like I'm finally turning inward to be like, okay, what do I need to do for me to help me function better? And I've gone for so long with doing so many things that have been denying myself of just simple, basic life skills that it's become my norm. And I got to break that. And now I see a solution at the horizon. And I think that now with my newfound attitude with like, now I'm pissed instead of being afraid. And like, I've got to fucking step up.
I like it.
And take care of myself.
Well, and
Yeah,
that's
I'm getting pumped just listening to you.
well, and
Yeah.
but that relates to the same
Boston
thing.
Rocky, man. Fucking great.
That relates to the same
Do it.
thing I've been dealing with at work. Like I've been doing more than what I should be doing. So it's like, okay, I'm going to do what I need to do, what I do best, what I can do, but I'm going to, maybe let things slide so that other people learn to step in and do the things they need to
They
do.
won't.
Yeah.
Not that way.
If someone says something to them and gets the gears going,
Yes.
the problem is if
Just
someone
let them try. No.
if someone says something to them and goes, hey, you need to pay attention to this and do this because we have one person doing all of it. There's 3 of you that can do this. All 3 of you need to be doing it. Like, all right, cool. I'm going to give you
That's
the
a
opportunity.
leadership issue.
But it's like I'm not going to sit there and step in and take every customer. Like you need to be helping customers. You need to be helping customers. I can't help every customer. Otherwise, we're going to have customers waiting.
That's a leadership issue, and that's only so much you can do with that. But you can continue to communicate, obviously, to your coworkers and your supervisors about that. With what Shawn was saying, I like that. Before you comment on that, because you and I have had a lot of conversations.
Yeah.
And Ray, sorry about this, but it is a lot of making sure you're okay health-wise. And it's so interesting because, you talk about yourself and you've been on this show a lot. And so we do have some longtime listeners. And I know we're on YouTube tonight, so we don't quite have as many people listening necessarily live as we've had in the past. But you've had so many health issues, and it's so many like aha moments in that way. And then you slip back into you're grateful to be alive and here for those people, and then you put them first. And there's nothing wrong with that, but I like what you're saying there because you and I have had a lot of conversations, and I can reflect on that as well, because it is, you have to invest in yourself and be strong physically, mentally. That's the best. You have to build up your own foundation so that you can be there for the ones you care about.
Mm-hmm.
Because not necessarily just even being, you're not your best self, but if you let yourself slip to a point where you have a health issue that could have been prevented, which I know, Shawn, a lot of yours couldn't have been.
Sure,
prevented.
but there were that could have. There were that.
But it's it's you constantly have to have a strong foundation of yourself the best you can, so that then you can react better at work, at home.
Yep.
Looking in the mirror, all that stuff, and you're not alone in that, Shawn, because we all deal with that stuff. And you and I have had a lot of those personal conversations, even just recently.
Yeah.
Like literally. And I think it's something that so we had a conversation, I'll keep it vague, but it was like, you were just like, I was doing that, and then I just stopped doing that. And you know what I'm talking about?
Yep.
And then you're like, I need to start doing that again. but it's easy when I see something that like Ray puts on there, is your plan to change? Is it for you or to accommodate others? Sometimes it's not just to accommodate others, but it's to have that person take the moment to just like you mentioned it, I think on the show actually, where even in the garage, you know, we were talking, and it's like that's all it takes sometimes, someone to open the dialogue.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna speak for your therapist or anything else or anyone else, but if you know, that's always sometimes the biggest thing, is that if you are finding yourself turning inward, struggling inward, to open the dialogue to someone that you respect, or a professional if need be. But it's something that sometimes you already know a lot of the answers, but again, you just aren't gonna do it until the New Year's resolution, until something like you try to like justify a clicking point.
Yeah.
Sometimes you need a little boost on that.
Yeah. And I appreciate our friendship for that. And sometimes it's just allowing me to vent, to get it off my chest. And all of a sudden I'm like, wow, I feel much better because of it. It's because when you do internalize shit, which I've been doing, and it's easy to fall back into that habit if you keep doing it. So to have that constantly, you know, having you know, friends that can say, hey, wait a minute, how are you doing? And it's like, wow, they just open the dialogue to let me like kind of vent, and I do, and I feel better, and I kind of like see things differently. So this is why I'm going to counseling once a week to keep on that path to where it becomes a normal thing. And I think, you know, basically based on all I've said tonight is that's kind of my New Year's resolution. And I'm not starting it on the 1st of January. I've already started it, but I want to carry that over into the new year, because I think if I can get to the core of me and get me back, or get me to a point where I'm respecting myself, then I can do things for others and not have to be like, don't worry about me. It's like, yeah, if I need help, I need to fucking reach out. For example, a few months ago, I went to the hospital because I thought I was having a stroke. I don't know, there's many reasons why I go to the hospital, because some always have these fucking medical issues. But when they know I've had a brain tumor or I've had heart problems, they're quick to say, let's scan your brain, let's do these tests, because they're worried about me having a recurring problem. And it allows me to kind of like just see that and go, like, once they get through it all and they're like, no, everything's fine. Like, there's nothing wrong with your brain. There's nothing wrong with your heart. Everything's good. And it's like, wow, I like, my mind fucked with me so bad that it put me in a state to think that I was having these problems. I do want to comment on Ray's, true friends don't care about the gifts they give. It's not just the gifts too. It's like just being there for people who are in trouble. We have a mutual friend, Chris Faulkner, and their family. And like, I'm always checking in on him because he's struggling, and it's some other, you know, he's major family issues right now. So I'm always just every once in a while checking in, and because I genuinely care about my friends, and like, I am loyal to a fault, because I would drop and do anything for somebody when I know they're struggling. And that's kind of what I mean. It's not necessarily the gifts that I do when I give people. That's part of it, because I just want them to, like, for example, the bourbon. If they're bringing a bourbon no one's ever tried, fuck yeah, I'm going to bring it. I want them to experience that. You know, I want them to experience something that's very rare, to see what they think of it. And I think it's just good for the community to be able to say, hey, and they can look back, well, I've tried that before. Yeah, was this or was that? But it's a lot of times it's just like, I try to check on random people to see how they're doing. It's funny how many times people come back and say, man, I'm actually struggling. And just because I simply reached out to them, allowed them to open up. And that, I take joy in that, because not because, hey, look at me, I did this. It's more of a, hey, I'm glad they're able to trust me to reach out and then let it all out. And it's more that than it is like the physical gifts or whatever. So, you know, I maybe use the whole gift thing as an example, but it's deeper than that. But I think I can still do it, and maybe do it even better if I reflected inward and found, and working on a way to improve myself. And I can do both instead of just doing everybody else, not myself. And now I've realized that with all the shit I've gone through, and I think it's a positive thing that I've been able to finally have the help, because I've reached out to help. I finally said, fuck it, I need help, instead of just trying to internalize it. So like I'm more excited about moving forward about how I can do things to improve myself.
It's also easier to talk about other people's problems or issues
Yeah.
than it is yours.
Deflecting and
No, not
Well,
necessarily that. I'm just saying it is rewarding, like you're saying. It's rewarding, and you have that experience, and then all of a sudden, like that experience is over, and it's like I still have my problems.
Well, I don't know, Ray. You wrote a message to me and said you love me, and I appreciate that, and you know I do, because when I was depressed and I was having a really bad moment, I put it out there to everyone to let them know I'm struggling right now.
Absolutely.
And I'm not doing well. But that being said, we all need to like, let me know if you're struggling because I know how it feels.
Yeah.
And to let them know that like, I'm in the shit right now,
Yeah.
but I want to still be able to not only take care of myself, but to let everybody know, like, you're not alone.
Mhm.
And I have that sweatshirt, like you're enough. You're not alone, because
You have a t-shirt too, but it's no big deal.
I do have a t-shirt. And so I've always wanted to make sure, because it's easy to tell everyone,
I didn't know
hey,
you
when
had
you
the
when
sweatshirt.
you're depressed, just think of a rainbow and puppies. No, fuck that shit.
Be like a clown, turn
Yeah,
that
be
frown
grateful
upside
for
down.
what you have. It's like,
Joe
well,
Dirt's parents.
yeah, but when you're in the trenches of it, and still be able to reach out to say, hey, I'm still available to talk, because you never know, somebody could reach out to me and we can help each other
Mhm.
and make it better for both of us.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where I stand.
Well, I also think some of the things that can be damaging, like if someone's going through some issues and you offer up to help, and you're like, hey, I'm here for you, and that person comes to you, whatever their problem is, you're like, all right, like, this is my opinion, this is what I think you should do, and then shit still goes side, or they keep doing the same thing they were doing before, and you keep like, dude, like, I understand you're going through it, like, I'm here for you because I care about you, but then they keep doing the same things that they were doing before. I think a lot of times eventually you get that point where, like, all right, look, you've complained about having this issue. Myself and other people have reached out to you multiple times to offer help.
Sure.
You turn it down, you ignore it, you go the other direction, and you keep doing what you have been doing.
And you can only do so much.
At some point, you're going to hit a point where, like, you know what? I've done everything I can to help you.
It's up to them.
You don't want to do it. It's on you.
And you got to let them suffer, unfortunately, because a lot of times you're just there to listen. And I'm learning from my wife being a counselor, a lot of it's asking questions to say, okay, what is it that makes you feel this way? Or what is it that triggers you? And what do you think that could happen? What if you were to try something like this instead of just trying to fix the problem? Is like offer them suggestions. And again, if they keep doing it and you get to a point, like my brother was always complaining about his job, and like I would offer solutions, but he would listen. Finally, you got to wash your hands. Say, look, I've done all I can. It's up to you to make the steps to improve.
Well, and I think that's the other thing. Like, if you have two parties that are butting heads with each other, and you're like, all right, you and we have an issue. Because it's one thing to give advice to someone who's having an issue with someone else or in their job or their personal life. When it's the two of you that are butting heads, like, okay, I recognize we're having an issue. I'm going to make some steps to better that and do what I can. Yeah. And you do everything you can to fix that issue. But the other person makes no effort whatsoever. Then you just stop giving a shit, because you're like, why am I going through all this? Like, cool, I'm bettering myself and becoming a better person, but I don't have to necessarily keep you as the ball and chain dragging me down if you're not going to make any steps or any effort whatsoever to better things as well.
When the response becomes, you know what I think.
Right. And I think that also comes with, I've done all I can. Like, just don't ignore them. Say, listen, I've come to you 10 times in the last week, and you say the same thing over and over again. And it's a difficult conversation, but it needs to be said. It may kind of jar them to be like, wow. But to say, listen, I've listened. I've asked you questions. I've maybe made suggestions. You keep shooting everything down.
Yeah.
I'm at my limit. I can't really help you now. I think it's the next step is to go see somebody professional or whatever the thing they could do to improve themselves. But until they do that, sometimes people like to wallow in their own self-pity or whatever. They like to have that.
Wallow in the mud.
Yeah, they like to have that, and they just want people to listen, but they don't want to fix it. So then when you start to see that, then it's like, okay, I'm here, but unless you change or make an effort to do something that's going to improve this on your own, I've offered you steps. I've told you certain things that may help. I think the next step is to see a professional, like a counselor or whatever. But until you do that, my hands are tied. There's nothing else I can do. It may sound like I'm turning my back on them, but if it's the same fucking skipping record every time you talk to them, they're not looking to improve themselves. All they want to do is complain.
And I think that's really easy to do when it's someone you don't have to interact with every day. Like when it's a friend that you don't work with, you don't live with, like it's easy to sit there and give them advice and try and help them out and then let them make their own choices because it doesn't have any direct impact on you. You're just there as a friend to try and help that person.
Yep.
But when it's someone you work with or it's someone you live with and you're like, hey, here's an issue that impacts both of us, but the other person doesn't want to make corrective action because you still have to interact with that person on a daily basis, it makes it much more difficult to work with. There's a lot there. The tension builds.
Yeah.
Because you're like, I'm busting my butt to try and make this, whatever this is, this work relationship, this personal relationship, I'm working to make this better. The other person's giving no effort whatsoever. Like, I can only give so much of myself.
Right.
And then when that other party doesn't give any effort, or sometimes we just sit there and go, well, they're not giving as much effort as I am giving. Sometimes we retract.
If I can respond real quick.
Go.
No, I totally agree. And it is a trickier and more difficult. And it depends on how you are with confrontation. If you don't like confrontation, it's going to be hard to say those words. But it goes back to what Steve said. Where's the tipping point?
Well, I think sometimes when we're the kind of person that hates confrontation, because I'm one of those, we hate confrontation so much that we let it build until it hits a breaking point.
No one likes confrontation when you are emotionally invested. No matter if you are the person, to your example, Nate, that you're trying to make it better and you can't get them out of it. And it doesn't, no one likes confrontation on the other side of it, is if you are trying to express it and may not be ready to be pulled out of it. And the other party is not, quote, not understanding the problem because all they're trying to do is make it better. And so there's a lot.
I dealt with that.
Confrontation on either side of the equation is my point. You know what I mean? So you're not on the same page. So you can talk until you're blue in the face, but it takes time. It takes a lot. Like, to your point, you're talking about it from the person's side that is trying to make it better or be there for them. The other side is also struggling with the fact that it's like, when you hear the saying that misery loves company, it's because it validates the feelings you're having.
Yeah.
And when you don't have that, and the two parties, especially when you're personally emotionally invested and you care about the other party, you don't respond very well because you don't want confrontation. The person that's trying to make you feel better is the one that feels like they're failing because they aren't helping. The other party, the person that is struggling, is feeling like they're not helping because they are disappointing you by not getting out of that situation or that mindset. And it's just the very, very strong crossroads that is very difficult. A professional or someone like a third party, even a friend, you know what I mean? That sometimes helps, because when you are so emotionally invested, and that's obviously personal relationships, but it's also professionally, you know, you want to do well. You want to, like, you're there to provide for yourself and your family. The other party's there doing the same thing, but maybe in a different position. But it's like the lack of interest or the struggle with confrontation for everyone is different on all sides of the equation, that I don't think that we necessarily address, because it's easier to talk from one side or the other, depending on which side you're on. And that person that's struggling in that regard could be the shoulder to cry on in another situation that they're not as emotionally invested in because it's easier to talk about. Is kind of where I'm getting at with that.
Yep.
Well, and
It's very difficult when you're not in the other person's shoes, whether you're the person struggling or the person that's trying to help. You can vent until venting doesn't help. It's not helping.
well,
It
and
makes
that's
you feel better at first, and then it doesn't because you're not ready to get out of it. You don't know how to get out of it. You're in quicksand, and that person is giving you a hand the best they can to help you the best way they know how to, but they don't understand, or you don't feel like they understand or truly appreciate the struggle that you're going through. It's a tipping point in that conversation or in that relationship, because you're like, I don't know how to help you, and the other person's saying like, I don't know how you can't help me. I don't know how. I want you to help me, but this isn't making me feel better.
so,
And it's a very difficult dynamic, and it's a very age-old dynamic that there is no easy solution to that from either party. It truly is listening, communicating, and taking a step back, circling back, all of these things that it's like, if there's any progress to be made, it may be very slow.
And my wife is a counselor.
I know.
She's like, I can only do, like when I was starting to vent, when I was going through all this shit, she's like, listen, I can offer some things, but I can't help you like a counselor because we're emotionally invested.
Absolutely.
So I can only say so much because, and it's funny, she would say she said what the counselor brought up to me today, she's told me 100 times. But coming from the counselor, it made sense to me.
Oh, we just talked about that.
I know. I was going to bring that up.
No, don't bring it up.
Well, not now, but like I was like, I can't wait to see this because it's to a point where, when
you told me that,
and when it's emotionally invested,
well,
you can only do so much.
and to your wife, or we were talking about it. It's very interesting because of what I was just talking about was based on kind of our conversation. What we were talking about in our personal lives. It was like one of those things is like you almost get upset because you're like, I've been trying to do this, and then this third party that it could be a stranger, like you're literally paying this person to listen to you and talk to you. No emotional investment, but it makes more sense, even though it could be very similar, if not the same.
Done for years.
And
well, because if the person you're talking to is emotionally invested and they give you an idea, sometimes you sit there and go, is that person trying to manipulate me? Or are they trying to make me think a certain way? Like,
you get an emotional response to them.
Well, like I've talked about this before, like several years ago, Steve was going through some stuff and I was kind of a third party, and Steve was talking to me about things. And there wasn't a whole lot that I ever said because Steve was going through some things that I personally had never gone through. I couldn't relate to it because of different life experiences. I was merely just there to listen to Steve talk about what he was going through. And over time, I actually felt really bad because Steve was going through some issues personally, and he's venting to me about it. And I didn't feel like I could help him at all. But the one thing I could do to help him was actually just be there and listen and have a genuine care for what struggles he was going through and be there for him while he was going through those. And while Steve was going through those, he made changes in his life. He developed some things, started picking up some positive habits. The thing that I tried to do is when he was making those efforts to make positive changes in his life was to be a source of encouragement. Like, hey, like, I think this is a great thing you're doing. Even though what you're going through in your life has nothing to do with me whatsoever, I care about you. You're going through this. You're making these changes. I think that's absolutely fantastic. Whether it fixes that issue or not, I think what you're doing is good. Positive. I think it's healthy. I think it's positive. Like, you need to keep doing those things, whether they have a positive impact on what you're going through or not. Because if whatever that situation was, if that situation completely goes to shit and ends, you've still made changes to better yourself.
And I
And so now, okay, now things have ended. You're still a better person now because you started doing some things to better yourself than what you were beforehand.
Well,
And I felt really bad because I didn't feel like I could help Steve, but my job wasn't to help Steve. My job was to listen and to
Sure.
just be there and be a friend and be
That's
someone he could talk to. And Steve was, I feel blessed that Steve considered me a close enough friend that he could actually open up and talk about what he was going through. And I know
shared a lot of whiskey with me. So,
and I know Steve is one of those persons as well, that if I'm going through some stuff, now granted, Steve's a little bit more like digging and, peeling back layers and, just
bad at that.
Just constantly asking questions
You love
and
it.
nagging to the
You
point.
love it.
No, I don't.
Beat it out of you, man.
I remember like it was yesterday.
Like, I don't want to fucking talk about it. Quit asking me.
I remember
You'll talk about it.
I remember like it was yesterday when we all three were after the show and you were, just venting and I remember I went to say something and Nate tapped me on the arm and went, nope. He just shook his head. And because I was wanting to try to fix it. And that's being in my job. And
That's us as men. We want to fix shit.
yeah. So you stopping me was probably the best thing could have happened because I was ready to be like, why don't we just do this? So by you doing that, I never forget that, dude. And it helps me now to like, what would Nate do? Probably
Oh, don't
he'd probably smack me on
Don't
the
use that.
Let's
in
not
every
let's not start making
WW
bracelets. Let's not start making
WWND.
bracelets.
No.
No, but it
In a lot of situations, don't do.
I think we got off track with the whole New Year shit.
Closing remarks.
Oh.
That was good. Good conversation.
Thanks for asking, guys. I had a great year.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. Come on, Steve. Let it go.
You were so busy directing the conversation.
Yeah, no,
When you
no,
get a
you
chance.
You had a great year.
I had a great
Oh yeah,
year.
you had a pretty damn good year.
Yeah, I had a great year, and it was not without its own struggles. But I mean, this is something that the new year, new world you. It's for me. It's been a great year. Big life milestones. Funny that you talk about that, Nate. From years ago, is that it's a great stepping point to talk about the fact that relate what you were talking about when I was going through some struggles years ago and what I decided to do. It reminds me a lot of like what Shawn, you were talking about with most recently your job and what the struggle that you had right with that and your reaction to it. It was, you can react in a lot of different ways. And one of two ways, or the two big ones, is you can just sit there and take it and feel bad for yourself, or you can reflect and you can try to figure out what you need to do for yourself. That's what I did, Nate, in that circumstance. And it was the best thing that I could do at the time and continue to do. Obviously, I don't take 2 to 4 mile walks every day. I don't have the time to do it. You know what I mean? But, and of course, everyone can say, oh, you need to take 10,000 steps a day, all that bullshit. It's great. Yeah, I
do
should.
that in the shop.
Yeah, not always, especially.
I do.
But that being said, oh, there's the freezer. It's been such a good year. And yet, as we round out this year, Kristen and I got married. We had bought a house prior to that. It's been very, very positive in so many ways. But even at the wedding that you guys were at, there were struggles. So no, not just the blatant one.
Right.
There were struggles with that. There was, struggles with the vacation side of it. There were, it's never 100% smooth, and it takes some time to get over some of those obstacles and those hurdles that even what you've gone through in 2025, even the stuff that you have really grown from in a positive way. The stuff you were talking about in my life years ago, now at this point, surprisingly, it's years ago.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And it's crazy that we've known each other obviously longer than that even, but all three of us. On paper or treetop level, sometimes it can be a fantastic year, but some of the self-reflection going into the new year, it takes you to take the highs and the lows, and really the lows, be able to learn from those and move forward. and the highs to learn from those and move forward, trying to, I'm not planning on buying a house and getting married again in 2026. However, I want to have, to the best of our ability, have those highs. Kristen and I, friendships, work, everything like that. It's you never want to be complacent with those highs. And you don't want to necessarily try to create the peaks by filling in the valleys to make the peaks seem higher. It is more of the up and down and trying to level it out, learn from them, and heal from the low moments. Because they rear their heads, you know, even when work's going well or when your personal relationships are going well. You're on the top of your game when it comes to your own personal health. It doesn't take a whole lot to remind you of the low moments or to be hit with another low moment. And I really think that's, for me, it's not a new me going into the new year. It's not the old me going into the new year. It truly is just it, to your guys' point earlier, it's another day. It's another week. It's not 2026. It's the fact that I don't want to write 25 all the way until like February on, like, you know, when I'm dating stuff. It's February of 2025. No shit, it's 2026. I kind of want that mentality because it doesn't really fucking matter what year it is. That only means to me now on the other side of 40, on the other side of 45 now, it is literally, it's like, I'm not trying to rush it. I'm not trying to embrace the next year. It's like, I want to try to keep doing the best I can. And when I do stumble and fall or have a new obstacle, I want to be able to not let it pull me too far down.
But
or the people I care about, let it pull them.
I think if you can strive to where if you look back and your lows of 2025 are higher than your lows of 2024, you've made progress. If your lows for the month of December are higher than your lows for the month of November, you've made progress. Like, if you sit there and we're, yes, you're going to have some ups, you're going to have some downs.
Yeah.
But if your downs are higher than what the previous lows were, you're growing, you're gaining, you're making progress. And I think sometimes when it comes to personal or professional life, I think sometimes we look at things in too broad a view, and we're like, okay, this is where I was last year, and then this year I'm here. That doesn't seem like a lot of growth. But if you sit there and go, okay, you know, last month I was here, this year I'm here, that's a lot of growth. Mm-hmm. Or, you know, my lows last year were here, my lows this year were here. Like, that's substantial. I think sometimes we just look at it too broadly from too wide an angle. And, you know, we sit there and like, yeah, you know what? I wanted to lose weight this year. Shit, I only lost 4 pounds. Okay. Congratulations. You lost 4 pounds. Mm-hmm. Like, you wanted to lose weight. Okay, maybe you set a goal of losing 10 pounds and you lost 4. You made improvements. You made gains. Like, you wanted to be stronger. Are you as strong as what you wanted to be? No. But are you stronger than what you were? Yes. You wanted to have a better relationship with your spouse. Is it as good as you wanted it to be? Maybe not. But is it better than what it was? And if it's yes, then you made growth. You Absolutely. Made progress. I think sometimes we're too hard on ourselves when we want to make New Year's resolutions or make changes. We want to make too drastic a change too quickly. And, you know, and I think that's one of the big issues people have with New Year's resolutions when they go into the gym. Like, I want to get in better shape. I want to lose weight. I want to feel better. I want to be stronger. I want to have better endurance. And then after a month, they're like, I don't really see much results. It's like, right. Cool. You've only been doing it a month.
Yeah. Do you a quick fix?
Do you feel better? Do you feel stronger? Do you feel leaner?
Yeah.
If at any point, yes is the answer, you've made progress.
The first benchmark of that, the gym or anything that your New Year's resolution is that, have you been doing it?
Yeah.
That's the first benchmark.
Yeah, that's the biggest
Did
struggle.
you go? Did
'Cause-
you put effort into what the
Mhm.
goal is? Have you
'Cause
done it?
We've talked about it a lot of times. You have a lot of people that come into the gym in
I'm saying about
January.
anything.
Well, yeah, you have a lot of people that in January come to the gym. Well, why do they fall off in February? Because they expected, as soon as I go in the gym, I'm all of a sudden immediately going to see changes, and those changes don't
You set too high an
happen right away.
expectation.
And so
Bro,
like,
James.
well, then
Yeah.
why am I going to do this? Like, I haven't seen the changes I wanted. So why am I going to keep doing it? Same thing happens in a personal relationship. Like, I've been doing things more around the house. I've been making more of an effort, and things haven't gotten better. It's like, have they not gotten better at all? Or have they not gotten better as much as you expected?
Yeah.
Like, if they've gotten
Yeah.
better even a little bit, that means things have improved.
Yeah.
Keep going. Keep doing that,
I like
because you may hit a point where all of a sudden now your growth hits that exponential curve and gets better quicker. I
Absolutely.
think too many people are too short-sighted, where if they don't have that's a big issue a lot of our generation had when we were in our 20s. Is we saw what our parents had in their 50s and we wanted that in our 20s, and
They
we
want it
didn't
now.
and
Even more so now.
and that's a big issue even the younger generation has. We wanted what our parents took 30 years to build, and we want it before we hit 30. And if we don't hit that, we're like, well, we just give up. Like, well, nope, I try to do it. Like, this is what they had. Like, nope, can't do it. No, that doesn't mean give up.
No, they
That doesn't
want it
mean
for free.
quit. It's like, you've made progress. You still need to keep working at it, because eventually you can get there. You just have to keep putting in the work, because they put 30 years of effort into it. You can't sit there and say after 5 years, I want what they have. Like, you can't sit there and look at someone who's been in the gym for 10 years and you've been lifting for 10 weeks and go, well, how come I'm not where they're at?
Right.
You haven't been putting in the work.
Right.
You can't sit there and look at a relationship and go, hey, this couple's been together for 20 years. We've been together for 2 and we're not where they are. Like, this, we're doomed.
Yeah.
No, you haven't gone through as much struggles. Like, those couples sit there. The reason they're together for 20, 30, 40, 50 years, it wasn't all sunshine and rainbows. They went through some struggles, but it was going through those struggles that made them realize how much that they loved and appreciated one another, that made them stick together. And when they did that, that made them grow even further than they
That
ever
means
could
more.
apart.
Sean, how about you?
Um,
Round it out, buddy.
yeah, sure. I
Round
think
out 2025
I feel like
Bourbon
my-
BS podcast.
I think like just today in the last few days, I think I would say I wasn't set out to have what happened today, but as my New Year's goal from this beginning of the year. But it's like, it's finally dawned on me a lot of things that I was very quick to, when I hit a low, I would just dwell in it and not learn from it, and self-pity and just wallow in it. And it would just get deeper, deeper, deeper. Until finally I could find something that would pull me out somewhat. But I was on that teetering line of like, anything that would go wrong again, I'd drop back in. Making the progress that I have with the counseling and the, with what I've been doing, it's kind of like an aha moment. And I think all of that culminated for the entire year up until today, where I'm finally seeing a change in myself and an outlook that's positive and reflecting inward. I think that's one thing. And I think I'm starting that instead of the beginning of the year, I'm starting it now. I think people that want to do the whole gym thing or whatever, I said it before, is like, you got to start looking in that stuff well before the new year starts. Have a plan in place. Know what you're going to do. Just don't walk in there and think that I'm going to start benching 250 like I did when I was in my 20s and then hurt yourself and go, well, fuck that. It's like, it takes preparation. It takes time, and it takes self-reflection on yourself. You got to start asking yourself, why do I want to get in better shape? Well, because I want to look good for the girls. That's so fucking shallow and on the surface. That's not a really good reason. You got to dig deeper. What's it gonna like? It's like you said earlier. And finally, after all these years, I used to think that way. Now it's like, how am I going to feel after I do it?
Sure.
How am I going to feel? Do I feel better? Do I have more energy, mental clarity? That's what I think people need to focus on. The weight loss will come in time. Don't expect a quick fix. And I think that's what the social media, there's all these fucking pills and programs out there where it's like, P90X, 2 hours a day and you'll be shredded in 90 days. Like,
P90X was great. Yeah, you work out 6 days a week.
Yeah,
You're gonna feel better. It's like no shit.
Yeah, but that takes time and effort, and you got to keep doing it. The minute you start dreading something, you're going to stop it. So I think it's more of a gradual thing for people in general, what they want to do. If they could get rid of the quick fix thing, and I used to be one of them. I'm older enough now. I'm 55 now, and like that shit really doesn't. Like I'm looking deeper now for things that I want to change in my life than just trying to work out. Like that'll come if you got to take care of yourself first mentally and getting in the right mindset to want to do it. And then I think once that is established, things like working out or eating better will be easier.
Goes hand in hand, man.
Yeah. And then the prepping part, have a plan in place, and also expect, hey, in a month after I start, I may not lose 10 pounds that I want to. Like, do your clothes fit different? Do you all what we just discussed? Those are the goals I think people need to start looking at when they want to do things like that. Look at how they feel, and you have to go deeper into yourself to get to discover that. And I think for me, that's all I'm caring about is I want to take what I've gotten in the last few days.
Do you remember the Super Size Me documentary?
Yeah.
So Morgan Spurlock, he's like, I'm going to eat nothing but McDonald's for 30 days. And after the first week, he goes back to his doctor and he's lost weight. He's like, holy shit, I've lost weight. And it's like, yeah, you've lost weight. You've lost muscle mass. And then all these other biometrics have gone absolutely into the toilet. But if all you're looking at is like, I've lost weight, you're like, yay, this is a great diet. It's like, no, it's absolutely terrible, because he couldn't even finish the 30 days because the doctor's like, no, if you keep doing this, you're going to fucking die in a month, because it's absolutely terrible for you. You lost weight that first week, but it's because you were losing everything positive about yourself.
They say it takes at least 21 days to do something to create a new habit, right?
It takes 2 days to lose it.
But that's the beginning.
Yeah.
You created the new habit after maybe 3 weeks, 4 weeks. Doesn't mean there's been change. There's been a change of mindset, and then that's when the real journey begins.
Yep.
No matter what it is.
Yep.
So I think it is a longevity thing, and that's the whole point. So the only thing I can give credit to the New Year's resolutions is that, it's just like we talked about. I did it at my Thanksgiving that we hosted this year, and we talked about it on the last podcast. What do you want to be thankful for next year? I went around the table, and I was not expecting it to go well. In fact, I even started not saying what I explained it, and then we went around the table. I'm at the head of the table. Went around the table, came back, and literally, like, I forget who it was. They're like, who's next? Oh, Steve, you already went. And I didn't even say anything. That I was like, no, I never said what I wanted to be thankful for next year. But I was just shocked that it went around the whole table. 9 other people, including my nephew, who's 15. It was just like, I was like, well, I did. No, I was just kind of like, this worked.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It is those things. Like sometimes you need that little push, like a calendar year change, just to have the beginning of of something that you're building your blocks on. So
I remember there were a couple years there when we did our Thanksgiving episode.
Yeah.
And we talked about that.
We did.
I actually had my little notebook, and I wrote down what whoever was on the show that year, I wrote down what we all said we wanted to be thankful for next year. And then the next year when it came up, I was like, all right, Steve, here's what you said you want to be thankful for. And then I was like, here's what I said I want to be thankful for. And,
Gentlemen, happy 2025, happy 2026. All you guys, we will see you in the beginning of January. Cheers.